हाँ भाई, प्रॉपर आ रही है? फ्लैग होस्ट हो रहा है? हेलो, फ्लैग फ्लैग स्विंग कर रहा है कि नहीं? ठीक हो? अभी ईयरफोन लगाता हूँ। और ये बताओ, स्क्रीन पे ये सारा ऑप्शन भी आ रहा होगा, ये जूम वगैरह वाला, या खाली नहीं? जो मतलब तुम्हारे को जो स्क्रीन दिख रही है अभी मेरी, उसमें ये जूम के नोटिफिकेशन वगैरह भी आ रहे हैं क्या? चेक करना, बताना। चला के वॉल्यूम डिस्प्ले नहीं आ रहा है। चीज ऊपर देते हैं ना, अच्छा प्रॉब्लम है ना, मैं देखता हूँ। ठीक है, आप ये अभी तुम्हारे पास आवाज आ रही थी, लेकिन अभी फिर आवाज बता रहे हैं कि नहीं आ रही है। ठीक है।
Morning, sir. Good morning, Pritham, sir.
Morning.
Thanks, sir. Manu, sir, always very active and proactive. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Naseem ji, wow.
Good morning.
Great,
Good morning,
great
Naveen
to
ji.
see you. after a long
Good morning,
time.
everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Sandeep ji, welcome you, sir. Sandeep ji, welcome you.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
कर दिया दोबारा से वो करूं क्या ज्वाइन करूं दोबारा से
Welcome you, sir. VK Sharma, sir. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
अब जा रही होगी ना?
अभी तूने कुछ
Admit take.
Good morning to all. Sulabji, welcome you, sir. President of National Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Sulabji, welcome you, sir.
Welcome, Dr. Naveen.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Welcome, Mr. Silas.
Well, thank you.
I am Kuku's younger brother, cousin.
Okay. Good to see you.
Silas sir is always ready for the Agra. Huh?
Actually, भाई आगरा ने ही तो बनाया है, आगरा ने जो दिया है.
Very correct. Very correct.
Alumni of Peters and Agra College, I think so.
St. John's.
St. John's. St. John's.
हमारी है।
Good morning, everyone present here. I, Ayushi Vashish, MBA student, extended a very warm welcome to you all to the conference on My India, My Vision, organized by Hindustan Institute of Management and Computer Studies in association with National Chamber of Industries and Commerce, Uttar Pradesh, to commemorate 75 years of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, for sharing thoughts on how we dream of our India 25 years from now. What are the key future opportunities and challenges? And it is a great particular for the youth of our country. The key behind India's demographic dividend. To listen to the thoughts of visionary present here today and reflect on the topic. Before we start, I request the audience to put up their queries, if any, in the chat box. We will take them after session or at the end as time permits. Moving forward, we begin our virtual event with the flag hosting and national anthem. I request the technical team for the same. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.
Shri Y.K. Gupta Sir, Conference Patron, Pro-Chancellor, Sharda University and Vice Chairman, Sharda Group of Institution, unfortunately is not able to join us. We move forward and he also sent his best wishes to the conference. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. V.K. Sharma, Conference Advisor and Executive Vice President of SGI, has 49 plus years of experience in industry, management, academics, mechanical engineering from IIT BHU and Masters in Business Management From National Productivity Council, he has served various reputed private sector companies and PSU. I now like to request you, sir, please address the gathering. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning to everyone, to all participants and all the distinguished learned speakers. Am I audible to all? Naveen ji?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So on behalf of the Hindustan Institute of Management and Computer Studies, which is a member institution of the Sharda Group, and also on behalf of the National Chamber of Industries and Commerce, Agra chapter, the two organizing institutions of this web conference on the wonderful theme of My India, My Vision, I welcome all of you, the prominent and learned speakers and the enthusiastic participants to this web enclave or the web conference. My India, My Vision is a very apt topic in this year of Amrit Mahotsav, which all Indians are celebrating across the country upon completion of 75 years of India's independence. Ladies and gentlemen, India is undergoing a huge and rapid transformation and is on the cusp of huge economic growth built on a sustainable foundation through a self-reliant economy. We are experiencing growth in almost all domains of human developmental activities, be it infrastructure, education, industry, trade and commerce, food and nutrition sufficiency, energy sufficiency, healthcare adequacy and access, defense preparedness, space exploration, communication and connectivity, road and mobility and transportation, and the list goes on. Simultaneously, we are getting more international recognition, enjoying higher prestige in the Committee of Nations. Thus, my hope and my vision is that India will emerge as a well-educated, economically and militarily strong nation, self-reliant on its human and material resources in the next 18 to 20 years, that is by 2040. Our per capita income, which is at present 1.5 lakh per annum, a very meager amount, low income figure, shall have risen to a level of about 5 lakhs per annum or more at today's prices. That is a middle income economy on the cusp of moving towards a high income economy. We shall be able to utilize the demographic dividend, which we are talking of, in view of the large investments pouring in from across the world, from US companies, from European companies, and so many others who are moving out of China due to the American and Chinese tensions of business and trade. The 10 basic needs of the modern human existence, namely food and nutrition sufficiency, clothing, housing and shelter, clean water and air, energy sufficiency, roads and public transportation or mobility, communication and connectivity, quality education, healthcare adequacy and access, the amicable law and order situation, and equal opportunity for justice and economic opportunities to all Indians, irrespective of caste, creed, or religion, shall become available over the next 18 to 20 years. This is what I feel is achievable in view of the progress and direction which we have taken. True to its traditions, in my vision, India will continue to practice its deep-rooted values, compassion for all human beings, and its rich cultural heritage, and be able to exercise greater leadership potential, greater leadership influence across the world, and be able to create a just and fair world order which is based on values and not just on materialism or selfish gains. With this brief remarks, I now wish all other speakers that we are willing to hear their expertise, their thoughts, their expressions. This is in brief my vision as I see India 20 years down the line. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful thoughts. Your words inspired us. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Naveen Gupta, Conference Convener, Director, HIMCS, PhD from IIT Roorkee, having more than 35 years of academic and training experience in India and abroad, in prestigious institutions like IIT Roorkee, WHO, ICMR, MAHE, Manipal, Dubai, a behavioral scientist, therapist, trainer, and management consultant. With leading companies like Heinz, HUL, Hyundai, Grasim Bhivani, Ultratech Cement, JK Cement, Modi Tire, Kripco, IIM Indore, IPM Meerut, UP Steel, Infosys Pune, Total Environment Pune, IOCL Mathura, Agra Chains, SLMG Agra, Jindal SAW Kosi, government organizations like Para Brigadier, Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Agra Police, Indian Police Services, Judicial Services, LIC, UPSRTC, AIMS Rishikesh, Mental Hospital Agra, and various schools and colleges of NCR, UP, and Rajasthan. Editor-in-Chief of 2 International Redeemed General, he has initiated several social projects like Soldiers of Society to train auto rickshaw drivers to be able to develop Agra and Mathura as tourist-friendly cities, SOS Bhojanalaya to fight the hunger index of Agra, and Psychologist for You program to provide psychological counseling and training. He has received Dr. Dharani P. Sinha Best Social Responsibility Award by AIMS as ISM Best Training Methodology from HRD Minister Kapil Sibal, Best Psychologist Award from Indian Psychometric and Educational Research Association, Best Paper Award from Western Decision Sciences Institute, USA, and Fellow Researchship from research work by UGC, New Delhi. I request to deliver the inaugural address and introduce the special award, Sundarlal Baguna of the city. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayushi. Good morning to all of you. And I welcome all the participant dignitaries, resource persons from the India and the abroad. As Professor Sharma has already spoken about we are celebrating 75 years of the independence. I'm proud of my nation. I'm proud of my democracy because of few very strong regions where a people can see a dream of being a president or a prime minister. A very good example is our recent President Honorable Draupadi Murmu or APJ Kalam. This can be seen only in India. I have worked in Dubai where no one can see the country is very rich, but the poor cannot see the dream of being president or prime minister. So I feel proud of being an Indian. The next, the reason for being proud of myself, being an Indian, 4 decades ago, we were having problem of the food grains. Now India is self-reliant. During the war of Ukraine and Russia, the whole world is looking for India to supply the food grains. Be it medical science, be it technology, we have achieved a lot, but still a very long road to go ahead. Before we sleep, we have to really work hard. This is also a fact that 19 crore people are not having food. I remember the words of the Swami Vivekananda ji, who said, if there is a single person in the world without food, the whole society is responsible and everybody is a traitor. Then what can be the vision? If I think, if I want to see myself within 2500 years as a developed country, as Prime Minister Modi also see this dream, what is my vision? When we are talking about the demographic dividend, are we really serious? Before the population becomes a liability, we all policy maker, educationists, bureaucrats, politicians, they need to be very, very sincere so that my children can see a developed India, which is the vision. What can be the vision of a academic institution? We need to be all very, very sincere. We have initiated few projects. When we talk about the global hunger index, we feel a little bit ashamed. India is a little bit down. What can we do? Inspired by the philosophy of the Vivekananda ji, what can be done? And we have seen the crisis during this COVID, and we have learned a lot also. We have seen the income loss, job loss, and the problem of the inflation. So we have initiated with the help of the students. I would not like to mention the name because number of students are involved here. We have initiated the SOS Bhojanalaya. This is the initiative of the Hindustan Institute under the leadership of the faculty members, where the objective is to create the employment and food for the needy, which I will talk later on during my presentation if I'm given this time. Then climate change is again a global pressure, not only in India, but all over the world. What can be my vision? What can I do? What can I do? So being in an academic institution, I still remember the words of the Canadian Prime Minister who said, there is only one technology available if you are worried about the climate change, that is the plantation of trees. We have initiated a project, Sundarlal Bhavguna of Agra, Mathura, or any other region. I would like to appreciate the efforts of the student also. I would like to mention here Vinit Upadhyay, a student who was involved in the indiscipline activity. And I appreciate the efforts of the Proctal board. The kind of punishment was given, you have to show that you are really concerned about the society. And he was given a task for plantation, and which he did very religiously and sincerely. So that is the idea, why not we should have an award, which will be announced later on what can be the process. Then Sundarlal Bhavguna of the Agra, Sundarlal Bhavguna of the Braj Bhumi. So we are going to introduce, because if we are really concerned about the climate change, if we want to see what we are doing for our children, what we can do for them, so this is really a vision which has to be. Though we have lot of pressure also, challenges also, which we have to see. Population pressure is again an issue. Corruption index, we are going down and down. So we need to be very, very serious what can be done. That should be vision of everyone, every student. On the occasion of the 15th August or 30th January, like in Japan, they decide their ikigai. We need to see what is my vision. What can I do? I remember the words of the Dhyan Chand, who said when he was playing against Germany, Hitler called him, can you play from our side? What your country has given you will give you a lot of money and the position also. He said, it is not my duty to, it is my duty to give the country. It is not the duty of my country to give me. So if we can create more Dhyan Chand in this country, we can see a dream of a developed country. Hunger index is a problem, climate change, employment, opportunity. These are the really challenges which we have to see, which I will not take much time. During this conference, we have invited a lot of academicians, good academicians, bureaucrats, those have really contributed, politicians, like Manu Kevora ji and so many other politicians. This conference is not a political conference, but yes, if there are good politicians, those are really जिनका दिल धड़कता है देश के लिए, so they are really important for us. So we try to invite them, but unfortunately, Sri Manish Sisodiya ji, because of the political crisis, as we keep on listening every day. So I had just a word. He is with the Prime Minister right now. He will not be able to join us, but he has conveyed his best wishes. So I also welcome Sri Professor Manu Kevora ji. ये कुछ लोग हैं जिनका दिल, हालांकि he is in US and I don't know what is the time now, but still वो जागते हैं, इंडिया के लिए जागते हैं. He's a visionary philanthropist and he's busy in the faculty development program with the AICT. Why? Because he understands country. So only teachers can be the architect. So he has designed wonderful faculty development program which he's doing along with the AICT. I welcome you, sir. And inspired by the philosophy of the Chuck Finney and the Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, is great philanthropist, great philanthropy. He's working especially for the blind. He has contributed a lot of money and he only keeps on thinking, so keep on motivating me what India can do, what I can contribute. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Sandeep Salias is again a very, very important person for us. He's a peace activist and a son of the soil, born and brought up in Agra. Sir, thank you very much. And he keeps on talking what Naveen we can do. So welcome you, sir. Today is what, if possible, what can be the takeaway? Those are involved in this conference. Can we decide our own vision? What can I do for the country? Or what the Japanese used to say in Guy? If our students, if all politicians can decide something, कि क्या मैं कर सकता हूँ, एक छोटा सा भी act beside my job, beside my routine work, if I can contribute a little bit for the society, then we can really see the dream of a developed country. Pritam Singh sir is really a wonderful person. I had a very little interaction, but I found a very simple man who has contributed a lot in Indian bureaucracy. I welcome you, sir. Though he was very, very busy, but I request for please, your words are very, very important. Please join us. Professor Vimla Murthy ji perhaps will join a little bit late. She's a very good, simple lady, pro-vice chancellor of Meerut University. As we know, the Meerut University and Agra University, what is the image and what is the problem? But she is working very hard, very honestly, how the image of the Meerut University can be transformed. I also welcome Professor Naseem Abidi ji, who's a good friend of mine. We have worked in Dubai together in 2005. When I called him, so I just listened the caller tone, Sare jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. I was highly impressed. कह रहे यहाँ इंडिया से जाके अभी भी दिल धड़कता है इंडिया के लिए. I want to listen from you 2005 में when you said कि सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा. अब 2022 में क्या नसीम आबिदी सर अभी भी आप ऐसा ही देखते हैं और is there any change? Dr. Anshuman, a scholar of the JNU, now working as a consultant with the Ministry of External Affairs, a very good follower of the Sundarlal Bhagwana ji, a scholar of JNU. He was a social activist, very, very active, still is a social activist, and very active of a political wing of a JNU that was the free thinker. I welcome all of you. Please give me some time during this conference also to join you, because we have very good speaker like Manu Kevora sir. So we would like to listen them, but the only vision I want to see from this conference, if we can develop our vision, what we can do. Challenges are a lot in front of us. If we want to see a developed country within 100 years. So inspired, even this was the dream of the APJ Kalam also. Thank you very much once again for giving me time and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words, and hope all have taken note of the special award announced by the sir. Now, I would like to request Mr. Shalabh Sharma, sir, Conference Convener and President, National Chamber of Industries and Commerce, Uttar Pradesh, and President of Pharmaceutical Manufacturers and Promoters Association, to say a few words. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to all the distinguished participants, our notable speakers, and I, on behalf of National Chamber of Industries and Commerce, welcome all the participants and stakeholders of this online conference. I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Naveen Gupta, Director, Hindustan Institute of Management and Computer Studies, who has organized such a wonderful online national conference, My India, My Vision, with NCIC as partner. It is expected that it will bring in an awareness amongst us. We all know that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is an initiative by our Indian government to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of independence and to the glorious history of its people, culture, and achievements. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav means exhaler of energy, of independence, exhaler of inspirations, of the warriors of freedom struggle, exhaler of new ideas and pledges, and exhaler of Atmanirbharta. I would like to bring in here the official journey of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav commenced on 12th March 2021, which started a 75-week countdown to our 75th anniversary of independence and will end post a year on 15th August 2023. The Mahotsav is the festival of awakening The Mahotsav is the festival of awakening of the nation of dreaming and of fulfilling the dreams about future India. So my video is stopped. What's the reason? Hello?
So we are getting your video.
We're able to hear you.
So, but we are able to hear you, please. Hello, am I audible, sir? Hello, Shalabh, sir, am I audible to you? Sir, you are on mute.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, now your video is visible to us. Now you
My
can
video
speak.
is visible. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You can continue, sir.
This Mahotsav is dedicated to the people of India who have not only been instrumental in bringing India thus far in its evolutionary journey, but also hold within them the power and potential to enable Honorable Prime Minister's vision of activating India too, fueled by the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. About my India, my visions, let's recall that we have achieved in the last 30 years. The biggest achievement of India is its development of IT sector. And we are pioneer in the world in IT and tech. India has the world's most number of internet users, tech gadgets, smartphones, ISPs. And India is already going to be digital everywhere, which will help our country to become more transparent in every aspect. and scenario, and there will be less corruption in India, which will boost its economy and also starts up and ease of doing business. The biggest tax reform of GST will help us to get top place in the world's GDP in near future. As we know that economy of countries plays a major role in world influence, and no doubt India will be a superpower in the coming years. The things we are going to see in the near future regarding our country, that there will be a mass and rapid transport system pan-India. India will become #1 in internet and tech related sectors. There will be iconic infrastructures in India. Most importantly, I wish and I am confident that India will become a permanent member of the United Nations. India will be in top 10 nations of ease of doing business in coming future. And the communal harmony will definitely much more improve in the coming years. India is one of the most populous countries, second most populous country in the world, and it is our strength also, and we will make it fruitful. Once again, I would like to thank all of the participants and dignitaries and distinguished guests over here on behalf of National Chamber of Industries and Commerce. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Salabji, for joining us for motivational words.
Thank you so much,
support.
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Naveen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words.
Thank you, Ayushi.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to mention that our chief guest, Mr. Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister of Government of Delhi, is not able to join us due to unavoidable circumstances. But we move forward as he sent his best wishes to the conference. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Manu Kevora, guest of honor, is a chairman, president, business excellence, USA, has 47 years leadership experience guiding Fortune 500 companies, 29 years as adjunct faculty globally in operations management, has contributed at 680 education institutions worldwide, delivered 1,230 presentations, published 75 scholarly articles, and wrote 50 blog posts on quality management, gave 2 TEDx talks in IIT BHU and IIT Chicago, USA, designed and delivered soft skill program to over 1.1 million people, appointed as Fulbright Specialist, USA Department of State. He is president of Blind Foundation for India, BTech from IIT BHU, MS and PhD in Chemical Engineering from IIT Chicago, and MBA from Keller JSM in Chicago. He has delivered 48 sessions at AICTE, Atal Academy, FDPs in 2021 to 22, peer-reviewed 68 AICTE Atal FDPs, winner of 6 medals for quality, 4 medals for philanthropy, 60 awards for outstanding professional contributions, 40 awards for lifelong selfless community services, World Book of Records, London, UK, and UK recognition for social work in 2022. I request you, sir, to share your thoughts with us. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ayushi, for very kind introduction. Greetings to Professor Vinod Kumar Sharma, my fellow IIT BHU alumnus from different department. I'm chemical, you are mechanical. Thank you, Dr. Naveen ji, for inviting me to join, and Shalabh ji for very nice speech you gave about your vision for India. All the distinguished guests and speakers who are coming up, and all the participants. Could you allow me to share my short presentation, please? If I could share my PPT.
Yes, sir. We are just transferring the host to you.
Okay. Thank you. So basically, I'm going to talk briefly about My India vision and actions. So 54 years ago, after getting my BTech degree in 1968 from IIT BHU, I arrived in the US and stayed back here after education, but my heart beats for India. And briefly, if India is going to become the developed nation in the next 25 years, as laid out by the Honorable Prime Minister on 15th of August, we need to focus on education. And education is the key to success for the future of India. So I'm going to talk briefly about how do we empower the faculty to achieve the excellence following the National Education Policy 2020. Very important to create a student engagement in the classrooms, and very required issue of imparting the value education. I'll touch upon briefly on the community service, which Dr. Naveen Gupta ji is very passionate about. And India can take a lead in globally serving other nations by sharing the expertise. And generally, when you listen to some ideas, you should write down at least one or two key takeaways. Remember, Nelson Mandela told us that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And we are so very fortunate we have the national education policy for us in India. And if we sincerely deploy that throughout India, K through 12 and all higher education institute on a systematic basis, India will become one of the best in terms of the education in the world. So let's focus on faculty excellence. In general, faculty, when they go out and attend any sessions, it's done in a solo fashion. My conjecture is that they need to learn in a collaborative fashion under the scientific guidance of expert faculties and resource people by doing lots of introspection and reflection. And if we can do that by leveraging the peer learning and class interactions, the excellence can be achieved by all faculties. And this is the foundation. Unless we can empower all our faculty to become excellent, the road to success is going to be very difficult. Now, I come from industry, about 18 years of work experience before starting in the academia. And one thing I noticed in industry, success came from teamwork. So I wanted to simulate that teamwork environment in my all academic classes. So I focus on collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning. So the teams are formed and they need to be cooperating internally within the team and across the team so they can learn from each other. Experiential, where they study between 8 to 10 state-of-the-art articles, and they have to do a live project in a team setting. And at the end of the semester, they write down a reflection journal on 3 key learnings they received from the program and 3 key lessons they are going to implement and how they are going to implement them. Now that allows them to start thinking about what's the outcome from the program they have attended. So in my mind, the role of faculty is to excite by showing the importance and application of topics, engage by putting the students in the group activities and focus on peer learning, empower your learners by providing relevant resources, and at the end, challenge them to find the solution to the problems. So we as a faculty don't give out the solution. We just teach them how to find the solution to the problems on their own. Now let's talk a little bit about the learner's engagement. So here is the analogy. If you are the expert faculty, you are a powerful transmitter, but the receiver, the students and the learners needs to be highly tuned and their antenna needs to be at the right place. So engaging the students in the classroom is the order of the day, and this is what the faculty must do. So in my classes, students are involved in their own learning, and when they learn something, they apply it right away by doing a project, and then they share it with the entire class. And tremendous amount of peer learning and class interaction, which needs to be enhanced in the Indian setting. So here I'm sharing with you 12 keys to the kingdom for learners' engagement to create magic in the classroom. So as a faculty, we need to show the importance of the topic and real-world applications, and then assign a topic to a student so they can do brief research and share the ideas back in the class. Topical question, more like icebreaker, and keep rotating students. And at the end of the session, ask for key takeaways of what they've learned for common understanding. Harvard Business Publishing gave 4 items shown 6 to 9. You can do short polls, arrange role plays, small groups to discuss and report back. You can put teams to work on the project and share the project results. And you can always bring guest speakers to have broader perspective. Last 3 things are very important for all of us as a faculty. We must convey basic concepts and principles, so there is no need for memorization. We need to get away from the old model of mugging up and vomiting. After the exams are over, there is a zero retention of the knowledge. Allow curiosity and innovativeness to flourish in the classroom. And as a faculty, please replenish your knowledge so that you are at a cutting edge and you can give that best information to your learners. If we do this, we get a gold star, and I've been deploying this for 29 years as a faculty, and I've been enjoying the benefit of engaging my students in the classes. So just briefly, I wanted to touch upon my education contributions. So it's not only just talking about it, but doing something for India. I was very honored to join the AICTE National Education Policy Implementation Plan Committee in 2020. 2 items have already been discussed at intro. And earlier in the year, there was a AICTE FDP's redesign committee, and I was very honored to share collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based learning, which the model has been adopted by the Atal Academy for the year 22-23. And I've served recently as a resource person for a soft skill program delivered at IIT BHU with help from AICTE, where 6 sessions has currently over 90,000 views on the 6 YouTubes, and the link is shown here. And very happy to share that in the last 9 years, the soft skills which are sorely lacking in India for students, faculty, and professionals, been able to reach 1.1 million students, faculty, and professionals. Now I want to share with you the wonderful work done at AICTE by the AICTE Atal Academy during the pandemic, pre-pandemic 2019-2020. It was offline, about 190 FDPs. But during the pandemic, everything went online for 2 years, and tremendous number of faculty were trained. And this is the fantastic work done at AICTE under the direction of Chairman Anil Sahasrabudhe ji 22-23, 200 FDPs have been sanctioned with a new model online and offline, which will impact 10,000 faculties with the improved teaching learning process. As I mentioned, it's collaborative, experiential, and outcome-based, focus on learners' engagement, additional eligibility for coordinators and attendees, eminent resource people from academia, industry, and alumni. There's a checklist. Big thing is adding a research journal to discuss in the FDP and in the team setting and write up a short summary, etc. Collaborative learning, reflection journal we talked about, and there was a orientation session already done, and the new season has started with the FDPs delivering. I'll keep moving through. Third item I want to share is the need for value education in India. We need to inculcate the character building characteristics, the ethics, the honesty, the integrity, compassion for others, the practice of non-violence, practice of truth, respect for elderly, respect for the environment, reverence for the teachers, and spirit of collaboration and cooperation. It's not enough just to have facts and figures and get degrees and get education unless we inculcate the value education, which was it was done well during the Gurukul time. We need to go back to our roots. Fourth, the benefits of community service. In the interest of time, I'll just give you a quick highlight. This comes from Habitat for Humanity. President Carter, he started this group to build the low-income people housing for free. So if we focus on having community service, it will allow the students and faculty to get more chances for better careers, more contacts, and they can improve their skills working with the adults, developing leadership, time management, communication, decision-making, and initiative, etc. And that can serve them well for the rest of the year, rest of their life. Now, here is my proposal that we have a tremendous potential if we make sure that the community service is done by all students in the higher education institute. It can amount to 16 billion hours, just 2 hours every week for 32 weeks when the university or the colleges are in session. It's a huge untapped potential for nation building. And they can work in a project basis in the surrounding community, focus on the area of interest for the community on education, healthcare, water, sanitation, agriculture, etc. And I just want to mention that here in the high schools, both my sons, they had to do 300 to 400 hours of community service during 4 years to get admission at a Ivy League colleges. Now, this is one of the things we must think seriously to bring back the notion of community service for nation building. And remember what Swami Vivekananda told us, the life is short, the vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others, the rest are more dead than alive. And this is all about doing the community service to serve others in need and help in nation building. And I'm very happy to share my own actions of giving back since 1989. Delighted to share that raised over $12 million for a variety of projects. And through soft skill program, we have reached 1.1 million people in 9 years. And through free gift of sight through Blind Foundation for India, 2 million people, million adults and million children's eyesight checkup is done throughout India. And we partner with Ramakrishna Mission in all different parts of India. Last item, that India needs to take the leadership at the global stage to achieve the eminence by sharing the expertise in the area of healthcare, education, election, agriculture, banking, space, sports, spirituality, and in tourism. We have tremendous opportunity to lead the world where we have the expertise in India and practice Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So in summary, we first focus on educating and empowering teachers to uplift the nation, engage students in the classroom for proper knowledge transfer, impart value education to all students to make them responsible citizens of the world. Community service should be mandatory for all students and faculties, and help nations in need in 9 different domains I just covered. And let's practice Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam to establish Indian eminence globally. With that, kindly note down at least 2 key takeaways from my brief remarks. And with that, I want to thank Dr. Naveen ji for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts with all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Manu, sir. We'll take forward your vision and would like to introduce the words which you have shared with us in our institution also. So thank you, because you have reinforced my thoughts, my vision. I'm glad to listen to you. Thank you, sir. Thanks. We'll take forward your action and vision also.
Sure. Thank you, Naveen ji.
Thank you so much, Vora sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Sandeep Salias. Our next guest of honor is a strategic poet and author, peace activist, and a former civil servant, a British achieving scholar and a strategic management expert from Manchester Business School, UK. He was awarded the degree of Masters of Public Administration with distinction and honors in 2008 from the Maxwell School of Citizen and Public Affairs, New York. He has worked in various capacities in 8 ministries of the Government of India, Railways, Statistics and Program Implementation, Youth Affairs and Sports, Overseas Indian Affairs, Tourism, Culture, Labor, Employment, and Road Transport and Highways. He has taken numerous steps towards peace building, peace education, peace tourism. Author of 12 books of poetry in English, Hindi, Urdu, essay, short stories, music, and his lyrics was brought by Times Music India in an audio music album, Ibadat-e-Ishq, in 2012, composed and sung by Ustad Shafaqat Ali Khan. He has over 375 travelogues, other articles published in national, international magazines and national newspapers as well. Richly awarded by government and civil society over his 36 years career as civil servant, he was also conferred the first ever Intercultural Leadership Award by British Council, UK, India in 2015. I request you, sir, to share your thoughts with us. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir. You are visible and clearly audible.
Okay. Good morning and now good afternoon. So I can't see myself on the screen, so I wanted to adjust the camera a little bit if you could help me. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, my dear students. And it is absolutely a good feeling to be with you today. And thanks to Dr. Naveen Gupta and the chairman of your Sharda Group of Institutes, Dr. Gupta, and my other colleagues who spoke excellently very well, and my previous speaker, Dr. Manu Kevora, for sharing his work and his vision. So, first of all, I'm very fortunate that I was born in India. And second, I'm proud to be an Indian. Now, the title of today's discussion is My India, My Vision. My vision, I still feel that I am a student and nothing more than that. I'm still learning. Thinking of what could be India's vision was defined by our forefathers in very, very clear terms. 1, Vasudev Kutumbakam. 2, Sarvajan Hitaye, Sarvajan Sukhaye. And I think those two master visions have been shaping the policies of India, the governance in India, and also has become the shared vision of the people of India. Now, how do we take the vision policy being implemented and to being realized? The role of leadership. Hi, is there an issue? I can't see myself. Can you hear and see me?
Yes, sir. We are hearing you and you are clearly visible to us also.
Okay, because on my screen, I can't see myself.
You can see
well,
if only you have
so David,
camera. And you don't go for a
okay.
And probably you'll be able to see yourself.
No, I just thought everything is okay with that head, not half, no, nothing like that. Okay. So David Gurjan writes in an Eyewitness to Power, at the heart of leadership is the leader's relationship with the followers. People will entrust their hopes and dreams to another person only if they think the other is a reliable person. So first, from vision to implementation to policy to being seeing the results of the vision on the ground root, grassroots reality, we must have a leader whose relationship is very well established with his followers. Because after all, it is your dreams, it is the nation's dreams, the national dream of 1 person to 1 crore, 34 lakh persons, 140 crore persons. It can be any number from one country to another. But if the dreams have to be realized, then you have to be perceived as a reliable vessel. And that has been the leadership challenge before the political leadership of this country, and very well taken up also. I needed to mention names from the beginning to the present day. Everybody has given his notable contributions. So now, since I am a bureaucrat, so I would like to emphasize more on how we can define the vision and implement the vision. So first, I believe, because I've been in governance, is that the country needs good governance. Every day, every year, every government tenure, whichever party comes and forms the government. I say that we must have a 2-stream governance. What people want, the first stream. What we think will be good for the country, the second stream. Now, what people want? People want, first of all, food. People want clean drinking water, reliable and regular electricity supply, employment, safety and security, access to modern consumer goods, good schools, good hospitals, good trains with easy reservation facilitation, good city roads and highways, clean cities, no riots, no robbery, no dacoity, no rape, no murder, peaceful living conditions, good communication facilities, opportunity for cultural expression, forum where ordinary voices can be heard, polite government servants who listen and facilitate rather than being rude and unconcerned, good rate of interest for small savings, control over price rise. Everybody must be able to afford the bare basic minimum. Beautiful sites for family outings in the cities. Basically, a government which appears to care. This is what the first stream of governance should be in my vision about what people want. The second stream is what we think will be good for the country is for the government of the day to decide. Which areas? Foreign policy initiatives, nuclear policy, trade treaties with other countries, satellite programs, space research, reform legislation. I worked in so many ministries, one of which was the Ministry of Labour. And I was surprised when I learned that there are 44 acts of the parliament under which the labour legislation is defined. We tried to forge an understanding that maybe we can have one umbrella legislation to take care of everyone. Because dockyard workers, compensation acts, and so many different acts, labor laws, labor legislations, provident funds, ESIC, you just name and there's a law. So how to reform the legislative procedures to have law which suits and governs the best. The planning process, wildlife protection, and tourism projects. There are many states in the country which survive only on tourism. So this is how, in my vision, the good governance can be laid out in two streams of government. Majority of India lives in the villages. I travel a lot. I go to the villages, and recently I had the opportunity to stay about 11 days in a village of Madhya Pradesh where I didn't have electricity for 5 days. I lived in a temple complex and used to have a bath on the hand pump and used to talk to villagers. What do we need to make our villages as entities of strength? What do we need to hold the people back in the villages? You know, in England, people prefer to stay in the countryside. The land is costlier there, more expensive. Not in the cities as much. Of course, there'll be exceptions like New York and London. But people prefer the countryside. They like to live with nature. We are a blessed country with the sea, the snow-capped mountains, the coastal area weathers, the extremities of weather, at the same time to be experienced in any part of the country, in different parts of the country, but you can experience by traveling snow also now and seaside also now. So how to strengthen India, in my vision, will be one very major initiative is to strengthen our villages. Hold people in villages by developing them best. Give the villages good schools. Give them good hospitals. Give the villages connectivity with good road and transport. Give the village boys and girls internet and other IT facilities. Establish at least one factory in a village where people can find employment. Because they used to come to me during my last visit and ask, "Saab koi sarkari naukri kaise milegi batao? Aap lagwa sakte ho?" I told I cannot, because everything is through the method of competition. I can guide. That's all I can do. But if we want to strengthen and build our villages and hold our people back in the villages, thereby reducing strain on the cities also, we must build our villages as beautifully modern villages. We have to give connectivity for the village produce to directly reach the outlets. We have to beautify the villages. We have to give space for cultural and entertainment shows. Today in the villages, people do naughty. People do swang to entertain themselves, because there is no other thing. Only boys and girls. Sometimes it is related to religion also. They participate in religious processions and festivals, because in bhajan sandhyas, because there is no other space for cultural and entertainment shows. We have to have good shopping complexes, because today if you ask a villager how he will get his clothes, he will have traveled to the nearest city to get good clothing for his children. We'll have to give them decent policing also. So the best way, in my vision, to strengthen India is to strengthen the villages, to build them, to develop them, because once they are strong, the entire country will be strong. Excuse me. Income disparity. Once I asked an ambassador of a foreign country, who's became my friend later on, who's now working in the United Nations from that country. And I asked, what strikes you most when you come to India? He said, in no uncertain terms, income disparity. Some of your people are so rich that they are the richest in the world, and some, the large majority with the low middle class and the villagers, are so poor that they have difficulties in making two ends meet. If you travel abroad, you will see in the American experience that they have reduced income disparity. Of course, they are very, very rich people, foundations and all, but everybody who is an American citizen has a car, has a house, and if he's out of job, he gets a social security dole which sustains him through that unemployment period. This must be the vision of every government, to reduce the income disparity rather than to increase the gap. Policies have to be tailored this way. Policies have to be implemented this way. And this bridging the gap of income disparity should be not only our endeavor and goal of good governance, but also our commitment. Tourism. I'm giving an example from tourism because I worked there. And I see that there's a lot of tourism potential in the country which has been untapped so far. District-wise identification of potential tourist sites, making a network of those sites theme-wise, say like wildlife, say like religious sites, say like natural sites, say like lakes, say like seasides, say like monuments, World Heritage sites, and weave them into a theme and a connectivity environment where anybody sitting abroad can come think of what he must explore and discover in India and experience that beauty. Raising of tourist police, sensitizing people to respect foreigners, not that begging, seeing that white skin of they. No, it causes a very bad impression. We have to address, I'll talk about addressing beggary also. speedy redressal of any tourist grievance. Because once we develop that, we understand other cultures and allow people visiting our country from other cultures to understand us best. It will help the world. Now, I am touching a topic which many people don't touch, and that is public life, the political class of my country. Who joins? Why they join? What is the motive behind joining politics? And what is the track record of people who live in politics? I will not say anything. I will only say that you must establish an institute of public service, an institute where candidates wanting to join politics have to obtain a degree. They have to understand the culture and the next level of political life which they are going to embrace. Get this education, feel the commitment, feel the country's history, culture, and then they should be allowed only to join. Like civil servants have an examination. All political aspirants in this country must have an education and an environment of learning, and then only they should be allowed to enter. We have to improve the quality of our politicians because they are the leaders giving direction to the country. Beggary. We almost see at every major traffic intersection in cities that there are a lot of beggars. How to address this thing? I feel that every city must have something special institute. Like if you know Aligarh is good in manufacturing locks, Meerut is good and known for manufacturing scissors, Surat is known for textiles, clothing, and so many other cities have this special quality of having that one thing. So every city in the country must have a something special manufacturing unit where you can employ all these people who are involved in beggary and get them to doing some productive work. There's immense to talk, lots to talk, every sector of the government to talk, every sector of the country to talk, but where there's a time limit. And lastly, I only would like to say that we have to develop the Indian identity. If we have the Indian identity, we will ensure our communal harmony, we will have peace in our cities and the country. Give you a very brief example. I was studying in America and somebody asked me, what is this caste? So I tried to explain to that person what you actually mean by the caste system, and they were aghast. He said, so in this case, you need to know from where your forefathers and fathers and grandparents came. So I would be, say, Algerian, French, Egyptian, English, Spanish, American, because that's my lineage. So see, they have merged it successfully into an American identity. Who are you? American. Who are we? We are Indian. If we can communicate to each other, to the country and to the world, in the world we do. Outside we are just Indians. Why can't we do that in a country? If we can communicate amongst us as just Indians, we're Indians, then we will be able to contribute the best to our country. We will be able to take India to the status where it belongs in the international forum. The entire learning of the universe is here. It has been written in the sacred texts, the Vedas and the Samhitas. It is here. We need to bring that out. We need to believe in it. We need to practice it and then present it as Indians. And I think we'll be able to achieve what we always intended to. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I can speak on and on, but I must respect the time of others also. And thank you, all my audience, for listening so patiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your inspirational
Can I
thoughts to us.
take a minute? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sandeep ji, very, very inspiring. And yeah, of course, I would like to join your vision. But the question is, I mean, we have a lot of issues. Youth, especially, they have a lot of expectation from us as a bureaucrats, as an academician, when we talk about the demographic dividend. Question arises, what is my vision and what can I do right now? Again, we are talking here, what are the issues? Issues are there, yeah, of course. Politician, I keep on thinking also, they should be. But karega kaun, kaise hoga ki at least if they have a lot of zeal to serve the country, they should be at border for 2 years. Or if not 2 years, they can decide their own कितना होना चाहिए कि भाई देश के लिए इतनी सेवा करनी है तो पॉलिटिक्स में क्या है कि बॉर्डर पे जाके then you will be perhaps more disciplined. तो अभी का जो political quality of politicians, that is really a question. And as I keep on listening, this society is bad because of the inaction of the good people. People like you should be more in action now, sir. Let's join the hand. And आज अगर हम कुछ कर सके तो एक विजन अपना डिफाइन करके जाए जो जापानीज बात करते हैं इकिगाई. We need to discuss with our students also, with all of us, कि क्या, what can I do for my country at least beside my job, beside ये. So I believe in a theory कि भाई अगर मैं अपने आप ही को change कर पाऊं तो I think that will be a wonderful contribution for the country, be it a corruption, be it a poor politics. दूसरा आपने बात क्या कास्टलेस सोसाइटी, आई रियली बड़ा सोचता रहता हूँ, कई बार सोचता हूँ, हिम्मत नहीं कर पाता हूँ कि क्या अपना नाम के आगे, मेरे फादर ही नेवर यूज्ड टू राइट, आगे ही हैज बीन फ्रीडम फाइटर, तो वो कभी नहीं लिखते थे सरनेम, पता नहीं मेरा नाम कहाँ से नवीन गुप्ता पड़ गया और मेरे भी यूज्ड टू हो गया. तो क्या हम अपना एक डिसाइड करें कि भाई व्हाई वी यूज्ड टू कॉल बाय द सरनेम, वो अगर हो सकता है तो शायद कुछ एक एक्शन हम लोग डिजाइन कर सकते हैं यहाँ पर. अर्बनाइजेशन इज रियली ए सीरियस प्रॉब्लम. इफ वी कैन थिंक रूरल डेवलपमेंट पे हम लोग काफी कुछ सोचते रहते हैं, कम कुछ कर पाते हैं, लेकिन स्टिल एक गिलहरी प्रयास हमारा रहता है कि व्हाट, कैसे हम गांव को डेवलप कर सकते हैं इन नियर बाई एरियाज, एंड दैट शुड बी द रोल ऑफ एनी एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन आल्सो. Besides, we talk only about package and all that. But being a director of the institute, we need to make them more socially responsible. I believe if your nation is not rich, if your nation is not strong, hardly matters how much rich you are. We have seen the recent example of the Afghanistan, Sri Lanka. So as you said, I feel blessed that I am born in India. Thank you very much, Sandeep ji, for sharing your wonderful thoughts. And I think we will join your hands in developing a better vision to look our vision. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Naveen ji.
Sir, I have a question from Mr. Rahul Sharma. He want to ask from Mr. Sandeep Salias.
Yes.
Yes. So his question is.
Yes, Rahul.
Yes, sir. So his question is, do you think Indian civil servants are only for elite classes?
No. No. An emphatic no. Indian civil servants are there to serve the masses. It is a false notion. Maybe some people perceive it like that, बट अकेडमी से लेकर अंत तक यही सिखाया जाता है कि आप देश की सेवा के लिए आए हो। अकेडमी में ओथ होती है। जब आपका फाउंडेशन कोर्स मसूरी एकेडमी, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री नेशनल एकेडमी ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में खत्म होता है तो एक ओथ होती है पब्लिक सर्विस की, और वो पब्लिक सर्विस का ध्येय अपने माथे पर रख के हर को चलना चाहिए। यही उसका उद्देश्य, यही उसका धर्म और यही उसकी नीयत होनी चाहिए। और बहुत सारे सिविल सर्वेंट्स के बारे में आप जानेंगे तो आप देखेंगे कि उन्होंने बहुत बहुत मेहनत करके देश में जन सेवा करी है। और जो ये शायद नहीं करते हैं, कुछ अलग रास्ता इख्तियार कर देते हैं, वो हश्र भी बुरा होता है और फिर वो देश सेवा नहीं होती। लेकिन यस, वो सबसे पहले देश के सबसे जो आम जनता है हमारी, उसकी सेवा के लिए है।
Thank you so much.
MI.
Thank you so much, sir, for your reply. I read this question from YouTube Live. Thank you, Rahul Sharma, for this question and raising these questions. Appreciated us. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Preetham Singh, our guest of honor and retired IAS, as Secretary to Government of India in April 2020. Before that, he served as Special Secretary and Director General of National Archives of India, Additional Secretary to Government of India in Ministry of Corporate Affairs from 2015 to 2017, and as a Director Serious Frauds Investigation Officer and DG at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. Also served at various positions in Government of Rajasthan, BE from Punjab Engineering College and postgraduate in economics. He has certified of advanced study in public administration from Maxwell School, New York.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Welcome you, sir.
Okay, I can't see my
busy schedule. You are able to spare some time. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No, I'll sit through entire because my other engagement has been somehow cancelled.
That's good.
Yeah, first of all, I must thank and congratulate the organizers of this conference in connection with the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. I can't see myself. I don't know. Yeah.
So, but we are able to see you.
Okay. So, my previous speakers have been very educative in their speech, and I have learned a lot from them. My speech, my talk will be more of a general talk. I'll not go into specifics because of various reasons. We are talking about my vision and my India, my vision. The biggest asset of any nation is its people. And our country has a vast and diverse pool of beautiful people, and we will have a continuous supply of young blood for years together. The human capital of our nation has great potential energy like that of a flowing stream. And for centuries, we are assured we will have young droplets of fresh water joining this stream. So this is a pool of energy, yet we have to plan what to do with this vast stream of energetic flow. If it is allowed to get stuck on way into small stagnant ponds of ignorance, disease. Such antioases are bound to stink and pollute the surroundings. However, if the human energy is channelized and empowered through knowledge and skill, education, this can be used as a vast storage like a blessed water body and made useful to the society. We can progress only if each one of us, each one of citizens born and yet to be born is given a conducive environment to prosper and progress. And a lot of effort is required to ensure that. We have to plug many holes that lead to brain drain. Our best brains are leaving this country. We need to do a lot to stop the wastage of the capabilities of our people, young, old, and children. We have to overcome many obstacles and do away with many biases, prejudices like those of caste, community, gender, and economic status. We have made a lot of progress in this direction in last 75 years. Before that also, during our freedom movement, we have been working on that. We have fought the freedom movement, we have worked the freedom movement together without caste and religion. But we need to continue to do that. Much more is desirable and much more is possible and implementable. I'm sure the people of our country can set right everything and move to the top of the world as a well-educated and healthy people. We can ensure health for all, education for all, but for that we need a more rigorous planning, more rigorous implementation, and more involvement of each and every citizen of this country. This is my general vision, and I see my country on the top of the world in years to come, but we are already very late. We are yet to channelize our manpower in positive way, and we have yet to see that every citizen of this country contributes towards the nation building. Thank you very much. I'll certainly like to answer specific questions, but
thank you so much, sir, for your wise words. There is some questions in the chat box. Will I read for you? Preetham, sir. We have some really good policies for the welfare of the society, but when it comes to implementation part, we somewhere fail to implement it at ground level in desired way. Do you think implementation at ground level is the main hurdle to achieve our vision?
This is not as easy to, fix whether implementation is wrong or the policies are wrong. The thing is, a policy which cannot be implemented, which doesn't take care of all the aspects of implementation itself is wrong. That is my personal view. But of late, we have been hearing things like this, that policy is good, but only the implementation is bad. This is not a digestible excuse, because the policy itself has to be foolproof, and it should take all factors into account when the policy is being drawn, that it must be implementable, manpower required, resources required, and the methodology required to implement should be laid out in detailed, in precise details. Otherwise, speaking or saying a good idea doesn't mean, if I say tomorrow that caste system should be, or communal tension should be resolved, this will not come by way. You have to show by not only by certain acts, certain actions, and certain laws, but you also have to choose right people to ensure that this thing can be done. And then you also have to see what are our prejudices, how they can go. You cannot just say, oh, desirable is that policy is that nobody should use communal, gender bias or religious bias or caste bias. This cannot be done just by laying down a law or laying down a policy. It must be implementable. You see, I was avoiding certain live examples, and I will avoid them. Also, whatever is happening of last few weeks, and last week also. Can you see that this communal forces can lie down or can be overcome if policy is very clear? We should not be communal when and law is equal before everybody is equal before law. But when it comes to the agencies or the people who are supposed to do that, so we must put right people at the right places. That is one thing. And who will do that is a big question in a population of 130 crore people. And where very few people are, empowered, rest of the population is very poor. They are not just bothered what is happening around. So these things will continue. I'm sorry, in a year of this thing, I'm still, but we need to work. Certainly we can achieve that. And we have achieved a lot. In last 75 years, we have overcome many things. I'm very hopeful also. Thank you. I think it answers my question.
Yes, sir.
I have one, not a question. I would like to add on, but this is the, of course, bureaucracy and the politicians. I mean, they are the key players of the country, of course, public also. But I'm just talking about one very small experience which I had when I was back from Dubai. So as Sandeep will join me, because I heard कि यहाँ लपका culture आगरा में decide हमने क्या में रहना है अभी. So we keep up. लपका बहुत है. लपका means you understand local slangs है. So Sandeep ji can connect very well. तो अब हमने सोचा कि टीचर्स हैव गॉट अ बैड नेम कि दे कैन ओनली टेक अ क्लास, है ना, बाहर बात कर सकते हैं, ज्ञान बांट सकते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट इन एक्शन. ठीक है, तो हमने भी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग कि भाई थोड़ा सा कुछ काम करते हैं लपका कल्चर पे. हम कल्चर चेंज बीइंग ए प्रोफेसर ऑफ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स, तो हमने थोड़ा सा वहाँ काम करना शुरू किया वहां पर. तो वी गॉट अ वेरी एनकरेजिंग रिजल्ट्स. कर दिया हमने शुरू. तभी immediately commissioner of the Agra, now he is retired, Pradeep Bhatnagar, so he called me. I want to discuss with you. एक दो बार मैं गया नहीं, but he asked, he is a gentleman, good human being. तो उसने मेरे को बुलाया, कहने का भाई what is your expectation from me? मैंने sir, why should I expect from you? Because this is your job. You have all the power with you. डंडा आपके पास, सब कुछ आपके पास है. मैं तो एक सवाल जरूर आता है कि आई एम डायरेक्टर ऑफ ए वेरी स्मॉल कॉलेज, कि जहां लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की प्रॉब्लम आती है तो मैं किसी से आंख नहीं मिला पाता हूं. When you see the problem as a commissioner in Agra city, maybe a communal riots हो, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की प्रॉब्लम हो, सड़कें खराब हो, इनडिसिप्लिन हो, लपका कल्चर हो, ट्रैफिक की प्रॉब्लम हो, स्टिल उसके बावजूद भी इतनी आपके अंदर एरोगेंसी है, इतनी पब्लिक से सवाल उठता है, कैन वी अफोर्ड दिस काइंड ऑफ एटीट्यूड इन अ डेवलपिंग कंट्री, पुअर कंट्री? फिर वहां से क्यों हमारे सिविल सर्वेंट्स कुछ थोड़े से भी दशरथ मांझी टाइप के निकल सकते हैं, टीएन शेषन टाइप के निकलते हैं, दे कैन मेक सम हिस्ट्री. कुछ ने तो कुछ काम किया है. बाकी इतनी बड़ी आर्मी, इतनी बड़ी फौज है हमारे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स की. तो आई वांट टू लिसन योर लिमिटेशन सर, व्हाई दे आर नॉट एबल टू डू. विजन सबके पास है, एक्शन में क्यों नहीं कन्वर्ट हो पाता? एक सवाल थोड़ा जरूर उठता है. तो though we are all responsible for this situation. Yeah, sir.
Should I? It's meant for me.
Yes, sir. Or Sandeep ji can also join. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me answer this question. One thing is that positions like collector, district magistrate, commissioner, police captain, these are very powerful positions. And if somebody says he cannot help, he's not telling the truth. That means he is otherwise having some vested interest. I have served as a collector and a commissioner, and I have had my way in spite of political opposition and other opposition, even from the ruling party. I will give you a very simple example how when I was Rajsamand collector in Rajasthan, there was this, the day I joined in July as collector, 97, I got a letter on my table from chief secretary that we need to enroll all the students between 8 and 14 to schools, and we'll have a campaign of 15 days. I was very much enthusiastic about this concept, and I knew that in 15 days I cannot enroll all this. So I ran this campaign for 3 months and ensured that all the children were connected to the schools, and they were brought to schools. I did everything possible, and I employed all other department employees also into this campaign. So that gives the power to a collector, and it is possible. Now I'll tell another aspect of the same campaign. There was this rainy season. There were areas in Rajasthan which get disconnected, so children couldn't come to the school. So what I did is I started schools right in their dhanis. We call dhanis, or that small, where if 20 people or 20 children or say 15 children are there. So I would send a teacher to that place. And teachers didn't oppose, otherwise teachers would oppose, main kyun jaun? But they loved to go there. And this concept of mine ultimately gave, was genesis of the Rajiv Gandhi Pathshalas, which were opened in all the small dhanis, hamlets. So this is possible. Collector has a vast, he doesn't need any ordinance. He doesn't need any, ratification from the parliament or the assembly. His action is still perceived to be in good, good intention. So if he does it also, and that at that age we can err also, we can make mistakes also, and they are pardonable. The chief secretary will always stand by you. If your intention is right and something goes wrong, they will always. So if somebody is saying that no, it's only the thing who is there. If he is a right person, and earlier in our times when we were in the field, and I certainly tell you, if the chief secretary or the chief minister came to know that the person was biased in even politically and even towards the ruling party, they will remove him. They will send him to the secretariat, and the collector will always be or the field officers in all streams will always be politically neutral. So those were the times. But now the quality of officers who are coming, and the political environment has also been slightly vitiated. I'm not saying only of recent years. It's quite a long drawn process, and every states started this, and autocracy of the chief ministers started this. There was another question that is it in IAS and IPS or civil services meant only for the what elite class? It's not true. We had in our times many people from the rural background. I myself am a student of Sarkari school right up to 10th class, and I belong to a poor family that way. And in 10th class, when I was writing exams, I had to study in the light of a candle. So that is not true that only elite people can aspire to be. If you pick up the biodata of those who make, even now, many people from many smart guys from the poor background, they are also making into the civil service. I hope this answers my question. Answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Glad to learn that the political environment and the officers are coming. I mean, they are also, we are having quality of the officers now. But again, question, keeps on just honking in my mind, that I could learn that an officer who got during his training program, Lal Bahadur Shastri, got the highest marks in ethics, but was caught in corruption. ये क्या वजह है सर? ये हमारी कंट्री की प्रॉब्लम है। बट ठीक है, ये सब चीजें तो कहना बड़ा आसान है, लेकिन मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि एज ए टीचर, एकेडमिशियन, हम लोग क्या करें, कैसे करें? क्योंकि एक सवाल तो सबके दिमाग में, बच्चों के सामने भी घूमता है कि इतनी इतनी पोजीशन पे पहुंच के अभी जो रेट्स पढ़ते हैं, बिहार में हो, इधर हो, सब देखते हैं 9 करोड़, इतना हमें तो संख्या भी टीचर
आप
होने
9
के
करोड़
नाते
9
सैलरी
करोड़
बहुत
क्यों
कम
कह
है,
रहे हो?
तो जाते
900 करोड़ भी हो सकता है, 90 करोड़ भी हो सकता है।
हाँ 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 हाँ, इतना बड़ा बड़ा जो है वो समझ में नहीं आता है। तो ये क्या एक हमारे इनहेरेंट प्रॉब्लम है कंट्री की? जब वो उस पोजीशन पे पहुंच जाते हैं तो दे हैव बिकम सो, मतलब पैसा पैसा। फिर वो कहते हैं इतना एजुकेशन के बाद, आई रेड अ स्टोरी इन माय चाइल्डहुड कि अगर एक भूखा चोर होगा तो अनाज चुराएगा, और पढ़ा लिखा अगर चोर होगा, लाइक सिविल सर्वेंट और एकेडमिशियन, मे बी यस एमबीए, तो वो तो पूरा का पूरा देश ही चुरा लेगा। पॉलिटिशियन होगा तो पूरा देश ही चुरा लेगा। इस सिचुएशन पे हम लोग सर क्या कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं? और यूथ के सामने बहुत सारे सवाल हैं, कैसे हम एक करेक्टर बिल्डिंग, मनु वोरा साहब ने भी कहा अपने लेक्चर में, एथिक्स, कल्चर कोर्स इंट्रोड्यूस हो गया है। यूपी टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी ने ह्यूमन वैल्यूज कोर्स स्टार्ट किया है, एआईसीटी भी कर रही है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं तो कहीं फंडामेंटली बहुत गड़बड़ है सर। कैसे हम लोग,
एक तो
व्हाट
देखो,
इंटरवेंशंस आर रिक्वायर्ड?
one is there is a stark change in this education system in the last 30-40 years. हमारे टाइम पे, even if today I meet my some teacher of class 10th or 12th or even college, I will address him as sir, I'll touch his feet. Or and in my tenure as a officer, in if a teacher would come to my office, I would stand up for him. But now that collector and even SDM and ADM Tehsildar will send a teacher to the if he has some score to settle, will send him to some such duty. Chalo tumhari duty laga diya, you sit down outside my office for 10 days or so, if he has some score to settle with him. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible clearly.
Okay. So this is one reason, one change in the society. People do not now respect the teachers, and that is one thing which is uttermost. Plus, certainly because we all come from the same society, when teachers are there who don't command respect, you command respect by your example, your own example. If you do something different and say something different, and hypocrisy will never bring you respect. So the entire system is rotting, certainly. But there are very good people also, even now, very good officers who are doing wonderful work, and that's how the system is still working, And we hope that the number of good teachers, good administrators will go up.
Can you help us कि जो आपने बताया कि there are good number of officers also, उनका थोड़ा सा अगर कभी टाइम मिलता है तो you can share with us, तो we would like to honor them, because हम लोग खराब लोगों की ज्यादा बातें करते हैं, अच्छे लोगों की बात ही नहीं करते हैं. So we want to honor them, so we want to invite them, role model for our students also, कि they are the good officers, they are sensitive, honest. तो अगर थोड़ा सा भी संदीप जी और अगर हमें करेंगे तो we would like to honor them.
Take up such an exercise, but it will come with a big disclaimer and proviso.
हाँ, आराम से सर. तो बच्चों को ये लगना चाहिए कि नहीं, अच्छे ऑफिसर्स पे.
No, why disclaimer?
मीडिया तो अपना काम करता है, करप्ट आदमी होगा उसकी ज्यादा खबर डाल. जी सर.
So when Sandeep, why a big disclaimer? When Sandeep and I joined service, then if I would pick up a phone and tell something to Sandeep or to some other colleague, batchmate, they will take me on face value. They will not doubt my integrity, that he has his own things to grind. But
that's
now,
why you are important for us.
But now, nobody, I cannot certify a person, because कथनी करनी में बहुत फर्क आ गया है. It is very risky to certify somebody, and I don't know how he will be. Still, there are people who are who have worked with us and who are certainly they deserve to be honored at good places.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to learn.
Sir, Preetham sir, there is another question on YouTube Live from Insha Sefi. Her question is, if the government policies are all good enough, then why there is a problem like inclusion or exclusion errors?
No, this is the question. This is the point which I had said earlier, that the point which she is raising, I don't know in what context, but exclusion and inclusion is in a government policy, there need not be any exclusion. It has to be all-inclusive policy. It must include each and every citizen, equal opportunity for equals. That is, if a particular, not equal on the basis of caste and religion, equal on the basis of qualification, equal on the basis of other eligibility conditions. So if that is not happening, I don't know what example she has in her mind when she talks of exclusion, but no government policy as such, even if implementation may be wrong, but no policy can be drafted that which
Okay.
So we lost you. Your voice is not clearly audible.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I said is implementation may be a problem, but no policy can be drafted which is exclusive, because it will not stand the scrutiny of law, because it will be against fundamental rights of equality before law and equal opportunity for all. So no policy can be exclusive. If it is, there are certain policies which are now under scrutiny with the Supreme Court. There are many issues which CJI Ramanna also listed, but unfortunately he retired before he could take up them. So there are things which can be challenged in the court if they are exclusive. But I don't know in what context the question, the person who has raised the question is speaking about exclusiveness.
Thank you so much, sir, for all your thoughts and wise words. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Anshuman Gupta, our next guest of honor, consultant, research and information system developing countries, is MPhil and PhD from JNU. He has served as professor of economics from School of Business, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun, Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry, India, and Havasa University, Ethiopia. He has done many projects sponsored by government institutions and published many scholarly books on trade, WTO, and regional trading blocs. He has published many research papers in national and international journals of repute. He is the editor of a book titled Energy, Environment and Globalization, published by Springer Nature, and recipient of Erasmus Plus Fellowship for Faculty Exchange of European Union. Now I request you, sir, to please share your thoughts with us. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Am I audible to all?
Yeah.
Yes,
You
sir.
are audible. So let me also take the opportunity to welcome Professor Anshuman. So we have studied together in JNU, but I was there for a very, very small period. And during that period, he was very, very active in student politics. So welcome you, sir. And I know him personally. He's doing wonderful job in social areas also. And very great follower of the Sundarlal Bhagunaji. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, good afternoon to everybody. I have been listening for quite a while. And being one of the last speaker, I think that is at the risk of being repetitive, because many of the things have been already talked about. So I would like to give my perspective about my vision and about India. In fact, the topic is very broad, and it will be encompassing many things, which I think will be difficult to touch upon every aspect of my vision. But definitely, I mean, my vision about India, some aspects I would be like to touch upon. So, I mean, while talking about in one sentence, how would like my India to be after 25 years or after 50 years or at the end of this century? So definitely, I would like my India to be, first of all, it should be well educated, healthy, pollution free, fearless, secularist, and ensuring decent life to everybody. This is the component which I would like to keep in my vision about my India, because we are aspiring to become a developed country, that we cannot become developed unless each of these aspects are addressed and addressed in an effective manner. Education is very important, because education is the foundation of any country. Because without education,
अरे नहीं खिलाएंगे जीजा जी कौन कौन सी मिठाइयाँ चाहिए सुनो ये मैंने कहा जीजी एक बार बताओ यहाँ जीजा जी लेने जा रहे हैं क्यों मिठाइयाँ मंगाती हो इनसे आगरा में दो ड्राइवर है वो जाके ब्रजभोग से मिठाई ले आएंगे आप हल्दीराम पे भेज रही हो इनको क्या फायदा
Yeah, there's some disturbance, I think. These are the hazards of the technology. I think sometimes it happens. So the education is the first and the foremost thing which I would like to pay attention to, as per my perspective about my India, because education is the foundation of any country. And though I mean historically we have progressed a lot in terms of the educations, in terms of numbers, of course, because as far as the literacy rate is concerned, if I just compare where we stood at the time of independence, we had basically 20%, less than 20% literate people. But now our literacy rate has reached to 75%. If I give the breakup gender-wise, so 85% of the male and 66% of the female. I mean, though there is a gap between male and the female, but still that is not a big gap, and I think in the coming time that gap is going to bridge. But my emphasis is not on the literacy rate, because literacy rate is a very very misleading terms, because literacy, if you go the definition of the literacy means whoever is basically able to write and read, they are supposed to be the literate. So I mean, just being literate is not enough to see my India to become a developed, because we have been talking about the demographic dividends, and the demographic dividends will always be elusive. It will not be achieved unless we look beyond the literacy rate, because there have been the many reports which have been talking about there is a lot of gap between what is required by the employer and what is basically being imparted to the students. So I mean, this is something which keeping many of the people who are still not only the literate, I'm talking about even the graduate, the engineers and other graduates, they are keeping many of them out of the job market. So they are basically not usable. They are not, their potential is not being exploited. So somewhere definitely, I mean, we should go beyond the literacy rate. First of all, the literacy rate should be increased to 100%, and then thereafter, the quality of the education is very important, because the quality of the education which is employable, which is which keep everybody into the job market, in the productive job market, that is very important. So this is the one thing, because the demographic dividends we will not be able to achieve unless we pay the attention to how basically we can upgrade the quality of the education. If I see what has been the reasons why we have not been able to upgrade the quality of the education, in country. I think the faulty policy, they have played the big role. They have played a big negative role in that. Because if you see this, whatever has been framed as a policy by the Britishers, by the colonizers, I think we have been following the same policy because the English language, they have at the center of, everything. We have paid a lot of emphasis on the English language, which basically, kept majority of the students out of reaching their potential. Because what happens when English becomes important in every aspect, even in the job market and even in getting the higher educations, and then it is going to keep majority of the students. They are not able to exploit their potential. The reasons being because English is something which is an alien language, and if we are not basically not studying, we are not paying the attention to the vernacular language, then definitely, I mean, majority of the students, because English being the alien language, they will not be able to exploit their potential. So this has been one of the faulty policies, and this is the reason as to why so far we have not been able to realize the so-called demographic dividends. And if we are not going to correct the same situations, then definitely we have already missed the bus, and definitely in the coming time also we will not be able to realize the demographic dividends. Though I mean this new education policy, they have tried to do away so many drawbacks with the education system, but still, how far it is going to be implemented, that is a million-dollar question. Because though it is on the papers, but the mindset, the whole ecosystem of the education system, that is that will not be, that is not conducive to realize whatever has been made in the policy. The reasons being because the whole ecosystem, being the employer, being the parents, even the students, they will not adopt the vernacular language. The reasons being because they have already knows their mindset is if they do not know the English, then definitely they will be out of the job market. So they this though I mean the new education policy try to change the policy on paper, but it will not be. It will be difficult to really implement it because the current mindset, it will not let it to be implemented at the ground level. So this is the educations which definitely is my concern. And second is, I would like to keep the health and pollution free into the one category, because nowadays the health and the pollutions, they are related. They are related in many ways because, if you see the pollution related health hazards, the health is basically definitely very important, and that is also one of the important aspects of the human capital. A healthy people will not be able to realize its full potential. Unhealthy person will not be able to realize the full potential. So I mean the health is important, and along with health, the pollution free, because if you see the pollutions related health, the pollution related casualties every year, 2.3 million deaths becomes because of the pollutions, related pollution related premature deaths. Out of that, 1.6 million is air, because of the air pollutions, and the rest is because of the water pollutions. So these are very important, as you are seeing. I mean, the cases of cancer, the cases of so many things, the lungs problems, I mean, they have been increasing many folds. And they are somewhere related to the pollutions and the pollution problem, because nowadays I am paying a lot of attention to the pollution. Even in the ministry, I'm looking for the climate change and the pollution's problem. So I would like to speak something more about the pollution's problem, because by talking, if you talk about the pollutions can be stated at two, it is of two level. One is the local pollutions, and when the second is the global pollutions. The local pollutions, they basically is that is of the immediate concern, and that can be tackled by at the national level. But just to tackle the global pollutions, because greenhouse gas emissions, which we are talking about, and we are talking about the global warming, which we are facing everyday's life, in terms of the extreme weathers, in terms of the, so much landslides or cloud outbursts, floods and drought, I mean, which we have been witnessing. I mean, they are the result of the climate change. So, I mean, though India has been the leader in terms of tackling this, especially the global pollutions, but definitely we are we are lagging behind in terms of the tackling the local pollutions, because if you talk about the local pollutions, then every city you can see that the level of pollution, the level of, it is increasing, and the air quality of the air, basically, it is going and deteriorating. So, I mean, the local pollutions we are not able to tackle better, because we are still the developing countries, and we are not basically paying not many attentions to the pollutions, because we are still struggling to provide the jobs to the jobless people. Because when we talk about the pollution, then definitely it entails the cost, and the cost, definitely we are not able to bear the cost, and this is the reason as to why the local pollutions we have not been able to tackle in a proper way. But the global pollutions we're talking about, we have promised a lot. We have promised a lot in the Paris Agreement and in the Glasgow Summit, which recently took place. And we have basically promised to, increase the non-fossil fuel energy capacity by, to 500 gigawatt by 2030. And we have promised to reduce the carbon intensity by 45%. And by 2070, we have promised to make our country the net zero emission country. The net zero emission means, when, whatever you are emitting the greenhouse gases, that will be net zero. Means if you are emitting some, then you are removing also of the same amount. So that is basically the concept of net zero emissions. So, I mean, we have promised. So this is something which is very important. You should be well educated, you should be healthy, and should be pollution free. The third and the fourth point is being fearless and a secularist. Then definitely you should be fearless, you should be secularist, because in India it is the house of so many ethnicities, so many communities, and so many diversities. So everybody should feel the safe in the country. Everybody should be, they should be free to have their own faith, their own religions. And though, I mean, the constitutions, it provide all these things, but definitely it should be practiced on the ground. So that is something which is I want my India to be. And if we are able to do all these things which I have spelled out a bit, then definitely the last things which I have kept as a component of my vision about India, ensuring the decent life to everyone. So if we are able to educate everybody, if we are able to give the proper health to everybody, and if we are basically make our country pollution free and fearless and secularist, because all these components, then definitely collectively they are going to provide a decent life. Because unless the 4 or 5 things which I have spelled out, we are not able to work on them, and definitely, because you should be well educated to realize the demographic dividends. You should be healthy to have a proper human capital, so that you can work to the fullest, and pollution free, because the health and the pollution is very much related, and fearless and secularist, because when you are fearless, then definitely you are going to work, because as you know, the society which is fearless, which has a different ethnicity, they are living with dignity and with trust to each other. So trust factor is very important, because if there is a trust deficit in the society, then definitely you are not going to realize your full potential. So the trust deficit, I mean, that is where, I mean, to remove the trust deficit is very important. So these things, if we are able to achieve, so I think nobody can stop India to become the developed country which we are aspiring to. I think this is all about my India. Yeah, I think this is all from my side. If there is any question, I would like to answer. Am I audible?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I agree with you, Anshuma. And what I understand when we teach the students environment, so I consider whatever may be the policy and लेकिन social fabrics पे हम लोग काम करेंगे तो perhaps no economy can grow. And unfortunate part, what we are seeing nowadays, कि थोड़ा सा कहीं तो गड़बड़ है सोशल फैब्रिक्स को लेके, रेस्टलेस है. जो आपने बात की प्रोफेसर अंशुमान ने, ट्रस्ट, ये सब चीजें है. इफ आई एम वरीड ऑल द टाइम, if I am going to Agra, what will happen on Friday, what will happen on Monday, क्या होगा, कहाँ होगा, ये सारी चीजें. और दूसरा कि डेमोक्रेसी को भी थोड़ा मैच्योरिटी अभी शायद इतनी नहीं आ रही है. सो मेनी प्रोटेस्ट, नथिंग रॉन्ग, बिकॉज दैट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट टूल ऑफ द एनी डेमोक्रेसी, प्रोटेस्ट. बट द वे वी प्रोटेस्ट, वो थोड़ा सा कहीं ना कहीं हमारा एक दायित्व बन जाता है कि लोगों को पढ़ाएं, भैया तरीके ढूंढो ना, वो आजादी के तरीके की नॉन कॉपरेशन, सड़क बंद कर दिया, रोड ब्लॉक हो गया, है ना. अभी किसान यूनियन, आई मीन आई डोंट वांट टू नेम एनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, तो वो यमुना एक्सप्रेस बंद कर दिया, कहने के टोल फ्री करा दीजिएगा. ये इस तरह की जो चीजें हैं, ये हमारी ग्रोथ को, काफी कुछ इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ को बहुत हर्डल क्रिएट करेगी, बहुत हर्डल क्रिएट करेगी. सोशल फैब्रिक्स को रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग कराने के लिए आई हैड अ वर्ड, कुछ यहाँ के नेताओं से मैंने बात करी थी, एमएलए एमपी में, मैंने कहा बीइंग इन एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन कैन टेक द रिस्पांसिबिलिटी. मोहल्ला नुक्कड़ ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम we can design for them who want to see a developed country, or you want to see a particular caste oriented or religion oriented country. वो एक सवाल बहुत सारे घूमते हैं जो बच्चों के लिए भी बड़ा important है, because most of the participants in this conference are students community. And I just want to say कि मैं इसलिए कि भाई आप talk about package, you talk about the corporate politics, culture and all that. That is also important because that is one of your agenda. लेकिन अगर your country is not rich, फिर क्या मतलब है? Why? हर आदमी यहाँ से ड्रीम कर रहा है कहने कि थोड़ा सा अगर बेटर होना है, क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ चाहिए, we should go away, we should leave this country, चला जाना चाहिए. संदीप जी ने बात किया है कि रूरल एरियाज में हम क्यों नहीं, कि अर्बनाइजेशन क्यों बढ़ रहा है. ये कुछ सवाल है जो कि मुझे लगता है कि एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन को they should address and discuss with the students also. Thank you very much, sir. You have shared very wonderful ideas which we can take up further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anshuman sir, for sharing your wonderful thoughts. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Y. Vimla ma'am, our guest of honor and Pro Vice Chancellor, CCS University, Meerut, President of Plant Sciences Section, Indian Science Congress Association, Chief Editor of the Journal of Indian Botanical Services Society, has a teaching research experience of 38 years and an administrative experience of more than 16 years. She has guided 28 PhDs, 61 MPhils, published more than 90 research papers, authored books, book chapters, and published 1 patent. She has handled research projects and organized workshops by various national agencies of Department of Science and Technology, UGC, UP government, etc. Now, I request you, ma'am, to share your thoughts with the gathering. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Vimla ji, welcome you.
A long time.
After a long time.
Yes. So it was so nice when I saw your invitation. I must thank Hindustan Institute of Management and Computer Studies and Sharda Group of institutions for organizing such a workshop on My India, My Vision. Well, it will take a long time to actually reach to a vision, in my opinion. We may have some vision, but actualizing it or implementing it is going to take time. However, whatever we are seeing today, our vision will be based on that. First of all, what we are going to see is My India. What is My India and how do we think about it? I must say that I love my country. Anybody who is born here would have that pride on this country because it has such rich diversity of geography, culture, languages, races, socio-economic strata, and still we are all under one flag, one motto, one identity, that we are Indians. This country, when we look back on our history, we know that it has undergone so many invasions. It has been looted brutally. There is loss of literary and scientific wealth, slavery for thousands of years. Yet it has the courage to stand again and show the power of deep-rooted cultural wisdom, spiritual bonding. वो एक शेर है ना उनका, गौरी साहब का है, कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी, दुश्मन रहा है दौरे जहां हमारा, ना बिल्कुल वही बात है. जहां slavery के दौरान we have Rabindranath Tagore saying the value of freedom, of fearless mind and strength to attain heights. In that period, in 1913, and he was awarded Nobel Peace Prize. And where Harivansh Rai Bachchan motivates saying, "Koshish karne walon ki haar nahi hoti." So this is my country, and I really love it for all that. What we have to do, because we have lost so much of our heritage, which could give motivation and inspiration to our youth and youngsters, we have to inculcate in them that pride. For that, it is necessary that our monuments of national pride, the colorful dresses of different cultures, of different states, the rivers, which are of course not clean, yet we are looking for cleaning them, oceans, ponds, lakes, hills. This is a country which has all the seasons, and there is a diversity in plants and fauna. So such a country, we have to take pride on it. We have to know about it. We have to love the nature which is around us. Every country is not bestowed with so many such blessings. We have people with intellect, art, wisdom, love for everyone. They know sharing and caring, because this is Indian philosophy. There have been great saints who were actually scientists. We have great engineers, and we still have great chefs who know the medicinal value also while adding anything into the food. The political scenario may be confusing, but the goals are very clear. The withdrawal of Article 370 again is our national pride. I would say that if we are looking for a vision, say 20 years ahead, I'm not talking about 100 years ahead, because things may change vastly. I cannot plan so much. I can only think about next 20 years, followed by next 20 years, and so on and so forth. But in the next 20 years, because the way this government is going very fast, it is pushing and forcing everybody to enter into the work, the task that has been given to them, although it is very inconvenient, it feels like, how can you achieve so much in a day? This is not true. But it is only a target given to you. When you say you have to complete it in a day, actually you may do it in 3 or 4 days. It is okay. That much leverage is also given behind it. But unless that wo talwar nahi latakti hai na, till then nobody works hard. Everybody has to work hard to raise the country to a status what we all think that it should have. We are not capable of taking examples from Japan because our behavioral aspects, our psychology has been so different that we could not achieve that much. Yet, we are one nation with too much diversity, what Japan doesn't have, that diversity. With that diversity, we have to sustain and give space to everyone. So if we have to become a developed nation, we have to plan it from today, because our youth, the next coming generation, should be a citizen of a developed nation, not of a developing nation like we are. Second-rate citizens everywhere.
Ma'am,
Hanji?
pardon me, ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is little bit slow. Will you please speak little louder?
Oh my God. Sure. Maybe I increase the volume. Wait a moment. I have put the speaker volume to 100.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is audible clearly.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was not audible there.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
It's
please.
okay, ma'am.
So my idea of a developed nation is that it must be capable of fulfilling the basic needs of all its citizens. When I say all, means Antyodaya, up to the last person. But it should not be free everywhere. People should know the cost of that living, and people should be able to support themselves. But providing, we must be given that freedom to dream and have confidence for achieving the goals, what we think about. In turn, every citizen needs to take pride in their nation and try not to harm the integrity and harmony of the nation. So there should be severe punishment as well in the beginning. I don't say that punishment always solves the problem. It does not. But they have to be brought to the mainstream, not to consider them separate or to dream as a separate entity. So that they have to learn. Everybody has to learn. The government has launched several policies touching almost every sphere of human life and trying to implement them with emphasis. If these policies are fulfilled, they are properly implemented, the thought process and inclination of its citizens is liable to change, and we can think of realizing the goals of a developed nation, of probably becoming the Vishwaguru as we recall our history. The present policies, like so many schemes are there, like Swachh Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Skill India, Stand Up India, Start Up India. Oh my God, so many, National Health Mission, everything, every sphere, Swasth Bharat, and then Namami Gange, connecting all the rivers, clean water for the rural people. Then this is one sphere, and the other sphere is Digi Shakti, rapid rails, expressways, then women empowerment, and above all, what we are having, the new education policy, National Education Policy 2020, which is a very ambitious policy. If it can be implemented in its proper form, then every village is being touched. Gramoday. We are thinking of reforms in legislations. We are trying for vaccination everywhere. And the vaccine is Make in India. Plantation everywhere, realizing the importance of the trees, that because we have been felling them so fast. So this way of industrial development or our development would not be fruitful unless we have good amount of plantation also for our own survival, for the ecosystem to be balanced. Some examples have been seen during the past 2 years when the country has fought with COVID. The climate change is also there. And people who are drug addicted, so that drug infliction, all these things we have been fighting with, and our teachers and students made themselves e-empowered. They developed e-content, took online classes. They never thought of doing all this. And suddenly they were under pressure and they did everything. ये खास बात है हम सबकी भारतीयों की, एक तलवार लटकती है तो we are all fully forced to fight that out. और मैं तो मेरठ में बैठी हूँ. It's a क्रांति धारा. 1857 की क्रांति यहाँ से शुरू हुई. So we have learned that lesson of freedom. For that, how much we have to fight. So our souls have to be free. It is not we are fighting with the other countries that makes us free. No, it is our own soul, our own mind, our own ways in which we are thinking. We have to free our souls to think positive, to make the country a real place to live. Our loyalty towards the country should go up. There is another program which has been launched recently, Agniveer program. Although there are so many talks about it, but I'm sure the students will learn a lesson to love their country, to know its problems closely, and will learn to love it. In education, we are now seeing that there is so much emphasis on NAC ratings, rankings. There is, as if there is a cutthroat competition. Everybody is fighting for the rankings. But at the back of it, we can see that everybody is trying to do the best possible to attract the attention. शुरू में तो वो ऊपर से polishing लगती है, बहुत superficial लगता है. But these superficial things slowly settle the sediment and they make their own place. That space is required. Now we are heading forward to industry academia interfaces, one district, one product for promotion of local specialities. We are also heading towards private-public partnerships. I would like to tell you here that not only our university, but several other UP universities are not getting any funds for salaries or for our requirements from the state government, because we are almost privatized in the sense that we are having so many self-financed courses, so much of affiliation, and we are raising our salaries ourselves. So we are learning it. This was the hard way we are supposed to learn. Not that we will get our salary in our accounts and whether we work or we don't work. Now there is accountability. Every year there is a performance appraisal required. Then internationalization of education. This will also establish the power of Indian knowledge system. Then emphasis on lab to land and local to global research. This is also laid sufficiently. And I believe that, again, we will have a far-reaching results of it. There are schemes for younger levels also, where girls' hostels are needed in even intermediate schools. Incentives are being given to girls for secondary education. Well, it may be thought that beti bachao, beti padhao, then what will happen to betas? Well, I also used to think the same way, but I have felt in the recent past that although the number of girl students has increased to very high level, yet there are problems with them in coming to higher education or continuing the education. And if the girl child is educated well, educated means, I'm putting it in inverted commas, then she need not worry what the world is like, because she should not get only that bookish education. She should get a life education, personality development, that confidence in herself, and also how to fight out or struggle out with the problems, to solve them. Then inclusive education for disabled at secondary stage has already started. Even at UG stage, the undergraduate schemes are also there for disabled students. Then schemes for vocational education are there, and national merit cum means scholarship schemes are there. So many things. When we go from one end to the other, we find that there is no end to it. Number of schemes are there. We are having environmental policies. Only thing is implementation has to be done properly. I was hearing about pollution. Yes, the pollution levels are very high, but who is creating that pollution? We. If we need too many industries, then our industries should also be not releasing the effluents the way they release, because they are not clean enough. We will have to fight it out locally at our own levels. We have to fight this fact. So social service people like Dr. Naveen Gupta is one of them, as much as I know. So we have to make, because we are having now industry academia partnerships and interfaces developed. Now we can have some influence on them to tell them how to treat this effluent and not to make our rivers polluted, not to make our soil polluted, not to make our air polluted. These three basic things are required by every person, every citizen. So nobody has a right to destroy it. So for becoming a developed nation, the misuse of religion should be removed from disturbing the unity of India. One constitution for all the citizens should be there. Well, I am talking about should be there, but let us see what happens, whether any government would succeed in doing this or not. However, in colleges, in schools, from the basic level, if our teachers are capable of inculcating that thinking in the minds of, in the young minds, I'm sure tomorrow it will be removed. The kind of disturbance which is being created will be subsided. And the andolans that we see, too many of them, every time, Sampradaik Danga and all, probably that can all curb if only we are nipping it at the birth stage itself. So madrasa education has to improve in that case. They have to pay attention to being one nation, and they have to take that pride in being a citizen of the country. Instead of looking at any other person, similarly, the other so-called religions, I don't consider them religions, yet they all have to come on one platform to believe that this is their private business. They should not indulge it with the national businesses. Education and health should be available to all. It should not become a commodity. The grievances should be redressed fast by addressing the root cause. If the root cause is taken care of, homeopathy medicine ki tarah, probably, though it may take time, but the things will improve. The conservation of biodiversity is always my thought. It should be there, and there should be ban on export or import of such live materials. No patenting of our wealth outside the country should be allowed. This is what I think is going to make our country earn on its own and also provide to others what our country always tries to do for poorer nations. It is always ready to provide help. So our nation should be capable of साधु इतना दीजिए जामे को तुम समाए, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु ना भूखा जाए. But remembering that it should be sadhu na bhukha jaye, it should not be atiti tum kab jaoge. So not that kind of people, but we have to understand between East India Company and our friends. We have to take that difference of understanding. We have to make it clear. So I think our students, the young generation is fast learning everything because they are in close contact with internet. They have born in this internet era, and they know every information so fast that they can develop this nation and grow it to the heights we are all dreaming of. Because it should be the dream of those eyes. We have to make it their dream. Then it will be realized. So this is what I think. In short, I think I have not taken too long. I have been able to finish in given time.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I must thank everyone who has been a patient listener here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your wonderful thoughts with us. We learned a lot from you. Thank you. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Naseem Abidi, our next guest of honor and professor and dean at School of Business at Skyline University College, Sharjah, UAE, has 3 decades of working experience in government teaching, research, and academic administration in leading business schools and universities in India and UAE. Masters of Science in Operations Research, MTech, and PhD in Future Studies and Planning. He has supervised doctoral theses and has published several research papers in reputed international journals. His area of research and consulting includes sustainability, economic efficiency, optimization, operations, and sustainable supply chain management. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you.
Thank you, Ayushi. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You are clear, audible.
Okay, and you are doing a great job. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir.
A very good afternoon, everyone who are present on this forum. And we are celebrating 75 years of independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. This is a great milestone for any country to achieve. And मेरी तरफ से आप सब को हार्दिक बधाई, including me. So thank you, Professor Naveen, for organizing this conference and inviting me to share my views and getting an opportunity to listen very experienced and very learned co-panelists. And I think I'm going to share my small PPT to share my views, and kindly allow me to share my brief PPT. I hope I will be given that.
Sir, you have access.
Okay. I hope my PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a very emotional topic, and I think we love to talk about our country, though I am here outside the country from last 5 years, but my heart beats for my country. I keep on frequently visiting India. And since the topic is My India, My Vision, so I thought, why not to take the base and comparison from My India in 47. So what was My India in 1947? So here you can see the map on the right side and some of the statistics which I placed on the left side. Our population was 34 crore. Our GDP was 2.7 lakh crore. Our GDP was having a composition of agriculture as a 50%, and services was around 15 to 20%, and manufacturing was 10%. Our per capita income, which if you look at in rupees, 249.6 per annum. In rupees terms, our workforce was mostly 70 to 75% in agriculture. Poverty was 80% of the population was poor at that point of time in 1947. Our average life expectancy was 32 years in 1947. And there may be many more statistics which we can pull out from archives. But this is what the situation was, some basic statistics in 1947. Then I looked at exactly the same My Country, My India in 2021. I took it 2021 so that I can pick up some of the statistics because 2022 is still in progress. So I found that the population is 139 crores. You can see the more than 4 folds. And GDP, which has gone into 147.35 trillion rupees. Services sector, now you can see the composition has got completely changed. And this composition is not same as the previous one when you compare 1947. Per capita income, you can see which is has 91,481. Workforce is 41% in agriculture, which has got reduced. Poverty has gone to 26.5% population. But remember, keep in mind, all of you, that the population has grown more than 4 times. So when you have a reduced percentage, even if you calculate in absolute terms, it will be coming out to be a huge number. Professor Naveen has already talked about Global Hunger Index. So I'll be talking about some index, but then I'll talk about it at that point of time. Average life expectancy, if you look at it now, is 70 years. So if I compare my India from 47 to 2021, and I can see there's a lot more achievements we have done. These statistics shows that, yes, we have grown, and we can see also. And some of us, we can see in the past 20, 25 years, we have grown almost in every field. We have developed many things, and we have a lot of things which we are proud of it, that yes, we have improved from a level to a different level. But this is one way of comparison. This is the comparison that we are doing our country, ourselves, at one point of time to another point of time. As a country, we were in 47. Now as a country, we are in 2021 or 2022, and we have improved a lot. And when we compare ourselves with the past, and we say, yeah, we have done a lot. But this is one way of looking at and comparing. We are not living in an isolated world. And we are one of the country, great country, very proud of our country, very big country, proud of our democracy, proud of our population, talented people. But then we also need to be comparing ourselves with the other country. So I thought, why not to look at another way of comparison, that on different parameters, how we have performed vis-a-vis other countries. So I tried to compare with certain well-established indices which are available, and anybody can check. So I have tried to put into my PPT. Some of them are here. So let us look at one of the index is Global Innovation Index. In this Global Innovation Index, I tried to look at that what is our overall ranking, which is given on the left side. That is our overall ranking is 46. That means there are other countries which are having a better ranking than us. And of course, some of them are having poorer than us. This particular Global Innovation Index ranking is based on the 7 parameters. You can see on the left side table, the 7 parameters. Out of this one, first 5 of them are input parameters, and last 2 of them are output. You can see the last 2, it is last words are written output. And if you look at all these ranks on the different parameters, then we have institutions as a 62 rank, human capital and research 54 rank. And if you look at infrastructure, we are 81. And then market sophistication, we are 28. Business sophistication 52, and knowledge and technology output 29, and creative output 60. So if you look at the output, only output, and input ranking, which I have also written on the right side, overall ranking, input ranks, and overall output ranks. So if I see here, overall input ranks is 57, and overall output rank is 45. So if you see this one, and I have to comment on this one, that our output is better than the input. That means our input is not that good, while even our output rank is far better than the even overall ranking. That means we are very smart people, very creative people, very innovative people, very knowledgeable people, and we provide better output, even though the inputs are not proper. And when you come to the comparison in the input and output parameters, which are separately given here, 7 of them and 2 of them, then our creative output, because of the lack of inputs, we are unable to provide, but knowledge and technology outputs, we are far superior, that is 29 as compared to the other. But the most important point here is, if you look at our infrastructure, and it is in comparison to all parameters, we are the worst in the infrastructure parameter, which is our 81 rank. And on the right side, if you can see, some of the countries are mentioned here, and their ranks is far better than our ranks. And look at the countries, name of the countries: Vietnam, is having overall 44 ranking. Thailand, Croatia, Turkey, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovakia, Malaysia, Bulgaria, they have far better ranking on Global Innovation Index than us. And I need not to say anything, but we have to feel about it. When you are comparing our performance with the other countries, and then we can see where we stand on it. So this is the statistics on the Global Innovation Index. I took another index, and this index is Human Development Index. And in the Human Development Index, our rank is 131 out of 189 countries. Out of 189 countries, our rank is 131. And if I look at the improvement which we have done during the period 1990 to 2019, then there is of course, it's a great improvement on all the 4 parameters on which they give our Human Development Index. But if you look at our ranking as compared to the other countries, then we find we are way behind other countries. And look at the name of the countries which are better than us on Human Development Index: Namibia, Nicaragua, Iraq, Vietnam, Palestine, Libya, Botswana, Maldives, Fiji. They are far better ranked on Human Development Index. And our rank is 131 out of 189 countries. So this is another index on which we are comparing our country with other countries. And the lessons are very clear in this PPT. And then I took another one. So because we cannot just solely depend on one of the parameters and then say, oh, that parameter is biased or something. So look at the other parameters on which the Sustainable Development Goals. This is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. All of us know about it. There are 17 goals, and all the 17s are here. So this is just to look at where we are performing, how we are. So look at this one, our performance in 2021. And out of 193 countries, our rank is, you can see in this PPT on the bottom, we are at the 120. Our rank is 120. And 121 is Guatemala. And look at the countries which are better in the ranking of the SDG are Vanuatu, Kenya, Turkmenistan, Namibia, Botswana, Ghana, Estonia, Slovakia, and of course, you can see the rank is given on the first column. And who are the countries who are performing better ranking in SDG goals? Then I looked at into little more micro detailing of the SDG goals. This is our rank, 120 out of 165, because they have not got the data for many other countries, so they have not ranked them. So out of 165, 120 is not a good ranking. A. B, if you look at all 17 in this PPT, you can see in some of the goals, goal 1, goal 2, you can see there's an arrow given there. And the arrow, which is going to be slightly in tangent way of upward, that means a little improvement, and the legends are given below. So it can be read. Some improvements are there. When it is exactly the horizontal, that means we are stagnant. And if we are upward, that means we have improved, which you can see like goal 6 and goal 13, where you can see green and up. There are some of the goals where there's a down arrow, red ones, and that means we have a decrease on those parameters and those goals. And look at the 2 goals where we have improved and which are there. And at the same time, look at the 2 where we have gone down, the red ones, the alert one. And if you look at the 2 where we have gone down, 2 red arrows, and which is the goal 4 and goal 15. And goal 4 is not a very disturbing. It is a quality of education. It is the most disturbing for us being an academician and being in this profession for more than 30 years now. So the quality of education in India, we are going down. It is as per the statistics and the data which we have submitted for SDG, and it is for 2021. And if you look at the other one where we have gone down is the life on the land. This is another one. So I try to look at, there's a time limitation, so I have to be a little quick. I looked at this one vis-a-vis other countries. And if you see in this one, on the left side, the first column, India is at the sixth row, which you can see. And all those 17 SDG goals are mentioned above. And it is given that where we are performing better. But in this table, if you can see, which are the countries above India? Which are the countries above India? And you can see it's not about only the China. It is Cambodia, it is Brunei, it is Bhutan, it is Bangladesh, which is performing much better on SDG as compared to India. So again, I will not say anything here because there's nothing much to say about it. So let's have another index, Global Health Security Index. And in this Global Health Security Index 2021, our position is 66. And which is, of course, it's not a great one, because if you look at which other countries are better than us on the Global Health Security Index, Vietnam, Brunei, Belarus, Montenegro, Serbia, Albania, Romania, Philippines, South Korea, South Africa, and Kazakhstan, they have a better ranking than what ranking we have is a 66. Somebody can say 66 is a great ranking, but I would say there's a lot more to achieve. Let us have another ranking. So education ranking, and then I looked at in where we stand, then I found it is our ranking in education is 32, which was 34 2020, and I hope we are going to improve. But when I compare this ranking along with the SDG goals, and I find not a very impressive conclusion, because in SDG, we are going down. And here, 32, we have improved from 34 to 32, because, you know, in education, there is a variety of things. It is a primary education, it is adult education, secondary education, higher education, vocational education, and so many other things are involved. We'll be talking about, so it's a quite complex one, but then of course we have to be a little more cautious on that one to see not only this ranking, but also in the other parameters, other statistics where we are going and how we are doing. Look at the corruption index, corruption perception index, and where we are standing in our ranking in 2021 out of 180 countries. Our ranking is 85. And look at the countries who are better than us. That means they are less corrupt. And look at this one, the kind of countries: Ghana, China, Jamaica, Cuba, Namibia, Burkina Faso, Trinidad and Tobago. So these countries are much lesser corrupt than we are. I would like to have one more index. Here's a WordPress index in this one. If you look at our ranking, our ranking in 2022, because 2022 ranking was available, so I included that one. And our ranking is 150 out of 180 country. Press freedom. And last year, our ranking was 142. So you can see we have gone down in our ranking. When we are comparing ourselves with other countries, just below us is the Sudan, the ranking of 151, which has improved from 159 to 151. And we have gone down from 142 to 150. The Turkey, Hong Kong, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Colombia, Brunei, Libya, Cambodia, and all those countries are having much better ranking than us. One more index, which Professor Naveen and Gupta mentioned about Global Hunger Index, I could not include. My apologies. I prepared the PPT last night, and so I just missed out. But then let me tell you, if I look at the Global Hunger Index, then our ranking is 101 out of 116 countries. Out of 116 countries, our ranking is 101. That means 100 countries in the world out of 116 are better on global hunger index. And this is also not a very good feeling which gives to us, because being an Indian, we feel, yes, we have improved a lot. But if I compare with other countries, that means we have to do much more what we have done so far. So based on all these statistics and data which I have provided, when I compare first two slides, when I say 47 to 2021, then we see, yes, we have improved a lot. But when we compare ourselves with other countries, then there are many areas in which we find that, yes, we have not done well, or still we are not doing well. That means those are the areas where we need to focus, and we have to make sure that we put all our efforts and we improve as quickly as possible. Now the world is connected, and there's no need that people have to move. Like I am joining this presentation from UAE, somebody can join, somebody was joining from US, somebody from Europe, and from India. So we can have these discussions and debates and participation and work out the way forward, that how we can do quickly as compared to the other countries. Our performance in many areas are not good, and which we can see from different reports. Based on all this, keeping in mind, I kept, because the title was My India, My Vision. So I thought to present My India, My Vision. And I have given these words to be the most admirable country in the world. So my vision for my country should be in just this short and sweet sentence, be the most admirable country in the world. And not only up to here, because this platform was up to My India, My Vision, but I have taken one more slide that, yes, okay, this is my vision, but how to go about it? Where do we have to focus on? Because if we go on picking up a long list and that we have to do this, probably we'll be missing the strategic approach or the topmost attention areas and other things. We all know about that. Hunger is there, poverty is there, education is, and so many things. So what I try to do is I have identified and put them as pillars. So I place them as these are my 6 pillars where I will be focusing and doing something. And these pillars are the health for all. Health for all means all country people, irrespective of rich, poor, whatever, but health is for all. Only a healthy country can contribute significantly. So that is one. The second one is education. It's not just about education. It's about education, yes, but at the same time, we have to also look at the skill development. We have to also look at that how our kids can be creative and innovative. So with their creativity and innovation. And so it's not just about education. It goes about more than that, which is skill, creativity, innovation. So those aspects also need to be included. Then another one is infrastructure. You have seen already in the Global Innovation Index, the most weakest link is the infrastructure. So infrastructure, whatever we have developed is great, but still it is too less and too late. But we have to give more focus, and all government institutions, individual groups, societies, everyone has to focus that how we can improve our infrastructure. So infrastructure is another area where we have to focus on an urgent basis. Equity and justice. Yes, people, my previous co-panelists have discussed about this one in detail. So I don't want to go into the detail, but equity and justice, all the institutions involved in delivering the justice and equity should be more active and more transparent, more fair to provide this equity and justice. The governance should be focusing on governance. Governance means we have to talk about health, education, infrastructure, fairness, transparency, ethics, corruptions. All those things need to be addressed under the banner of governance. The last one is the peace and security. That, of course, not the less important, because a peaceful country, a peace and secured country, people should feel peaceful and secured in the country of all kinds of people, be it women or child or poor or rich or any religion or any caste, creed, they should feel very happy, peaceful, and secure in the country. So these are the 6 pillars I identified that we should start focusing on this one. Another thing which I need to focus on, 2 more sentences, is one is that we have to have a global mindset, that we should not be saying yesterday I'm better than yesterday and I'm happy. That is not enough, because we are in a connected world and we have to look at as a global mindset, and we have to see how we are performing vis-a-vis our yesterday, but at the same time, how we are performing as compared to the other countries. So we have to keep in mind that perspective also, because the technology, the people, the idea, the approach, the processes, all those things can be taken and it can be introduced in our country to speed up, to catch up to those targets. So that is one thing, that we should have our global mindset. The other thing is, what we have to do is, be it as an individual, we have to do our job in a more ethical and professional manner. At the same time, not only as an individual, whatever we are doing as a student, as a faculty, as an administrator, as a citizen, so we have to deliver what we are supposed to do. At the same time, we have to also make the groups, and we have to also look at our institution where we are working. So not as an individual, group, society, institution, government, everywhere, wherever we have our contribution or the way we can contribute, we should be contributing to make our country as a better country, not only on those parameters, but as a faster pace, we have to achieve that one. So that 2 things which I will recommend at the end is, one is to keep a global mindset, and second thing is contribute in whichever capacity you are, not alone, but also make groups and societies and institutions and professional and personal capacity to build your nation as a better nation and to achieve the vision which I presented. Some of you may like it. Thank you very much for listening patiently. And if you have any questions, you can raise that one. I'll try to answer them.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. I have a question from the chat box. The question is from Riya Jaiswal. The question is, sir, when we talk about the vision for India, we talk about growth in terms of GDP, per capita income, etc. But we ignore the growth in terms of quality of life and happiness. Maybe because our key performance indices include only quantifiable data. Don't you think our KPIs required to be changed, or at least added these points as well?
Thank you. Very nice question. But then if you look at the performance of a country, it is not just about the GDP. It's not just about the economy. It's not just about the share market and those things. Of course, it has to be coming back on, when you look at the Human Development Index, then it talks about the quality of life. When you look at the Global Hunger Index, it talks about the food. When you talk about the SDG, there are 17 development goals. They are not one. And the first one and second one are not about health and education. They are about hunger. They are about the food and then health and then education. So they are talking about all parameters. So that's why just focusing, if anybody thinks that the only GDP is the criteria, no. I also don't think, and even nobody should think that the GDP is the only criteria, but it is one of the parameter which we can look at it. It's not the sole criteria to say that we are a developed country. There are many other Human Development Index and many other SDG goals which we have to look at. And then we have to say, and once you say that my country, when you go and you feel like this is most adorable country and then I want to be here. So it's not about GDP. I can't see the GDP there. I can see the people there. I can see their quality of life there. I can see their smile and on their faces. I want to see that one. And that's the one which is most important. But then, yes, of course, we work on those parameters to make it more quantifiable. There's an easier way, but we should not get carried away that that's the only criteria. That's not the criteria. One of the criteria it may be, but not the sole criteria.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your thoughts on the topic as well. Now, I want everyone, all the dignitaries, please open their cameras to take a group picture.
So I have a few comments or questions here.
Most welcome, sir.
We have seen India from outside, both of us. And this conference has been designed with a purpose also. The academician, a team of the academician like Professor Anshu, Bimla, Naseem sir, Gora sir, and then the bureaucrats like Sandeep ji and Pritam sir, and industries like Salabh Sharma ji. We tried to invite politicians also, but because of their own I don't know why they are so myopic. Because we invited Manish Sisodiya ji, to all BJP-minded persons, they thought to withdraw. So we had a commitment initially from them. But anyway, they want to just avoid because the young generation are going to ask a lot of questions now. They have. So I could understand when I was in Dubai that yes, vision can make you rich. Not rich people can have the vision. That I could learn from the sake of Dubai when I was there. But still, when you are, मैंने जब आपका रिंगटोन सुना था 2005 में कि सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा, तो still you feel like that, or is there any change? What is your perception in terms of the India? And then if it is so, then why you are not coming back? So that I want to listen from you. Or I really admire the inputs given by the Professor Murthy also, despite of having a lot of linguistic difficulty because he's from South originally, but still she was able to connect very well. And I wanted to ask, because time is very short, as a Pro Vice Chancellor of the University, image rebuilding पे आपने क्या intervention किया है, ये भी बहुत अच्छा बताया है कि अभी थोड़ा सा change हो रहा है. Quality of working maybe change आ रहा है, but when I see the Agra University, I feel so sad. So image rebuilding, और ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक है जो उन्होंने बिमला मूर्ति जी ने भी कहा है कि माना कि अंधेरा घना है, पर एक दिया जलाना कहाँ मना है. नसीम साहब भी ये कह रहे हैं कि इंडिविजुअल लेवल पर भी मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, वो that we have to think, we have to talk. So time is a really issue, but yeah, it is over to Ayushi. So you can take your agenda further, but I want to talk. And this is not the end of the conference, because we will take it in a different phases. We want to invite the next time all kind of people, those can join to make this India a developed country. Like next session, Saturday, we are going to invite the all doctors. They are also part. Lawyers, politicians will again try. They do have certain accountability. अभी नहीं ऐसे चलेगा कि भी 5 साल हुआ तब तक तो आगे फिर अभी. We try to contact them, but no response, और है भी तो no commitment. Except मतलब Manish Sisodiya ji को, he can be excused, है ना? And he has been with us also 1.5 घंटा बहुत. I am inviting you not as a politician. I am inviting you because you are an education minister. Please share your vision about the education. तो उन लोगों को बुलाया, commitment भी हो गया, but on the time they were not available. I really salute Sandeep ji, Pritam ji, that they are with us. Thank you. So you take your agenda further. We'll discuss in next phase, and we would love to invite you again and again, so that there must be some takeaway. What the Japanese used to talk, ikigai. Can our students, can our children can make their vision also very clear? When the student asks the question, is it only GDP? No, we have to make this India livable, world livable. Happiness index, what Bhutan, a small country, used to talk. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Hello. Yeah, over to you, Ayushi. Take your agenda further.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. At last, I want like to extend my sincere thanks to all the guests and participants for actively participate in the conference. The certificate of the participants will be mailed to you shortly. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you all once again because of the time constraint.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Naveen. In last 5 months, I came 4 times India.
Yeah, I know. अभी भी दिल धड़कता है.
So I just came last week, 12 days back.
I know. You are in touch and you keep on coming, keep on sharing.
So we have to convert this thing into an action. So that's more important. And wherever possible, and we have to initiate it to start somewhere, some way. And of course, it will become big one day.
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुन के after long time as an academician. So being a man of statistics, so you have shared a lot of statistics. Great statistics. But वो है कि press freedom की बात आपने किया है, तो there are certain disadvantages also. I mean, the media is playing very dirty role in India nowadays because है ना.
That also contributes to going down from 142 to 150.
Vimla ji is doing wonderful job. Is a daughter of a great professor. है ना, वो मतलब हमें पढ़ाया तो नहीं because I have not been a student of science, but keep on listening. I was a student of Meerut University, great professor, and she's doing wonderful job. Hats off to you, madam. मेरठ में और आगरा में काम करना is not so easy. तो आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं, तो मेरी तो अगर कोई वाइस चांसलरशिप का ऑफर दे आगरा यूनिवर्सिटी में 1 करोड़ रुपए भी दे तो perhaps I will say thank you very much because इतनी हिम्मत नहीं है मेरे अंदर.
नहीं, इसीलिए कभी आगरा यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए एप्लीकेंट नहीं हुई. इसीलिए आगरा यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए कभी नहीं अप्लाई किया.
हाँ, आगरा perhaps is more. इसमें बहुत काम करने की जरूरत है. शलभ जी अगर यहाँ पर हैं तो थोड़ा सा हमारी आवाज उठाएं, बात करें कि भाई हमारे यहाँ से एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर भी है, अपने बघेल साहब भी हैं, है ना, बहुत सारे एमपी एमएलए जो हैं, वो एजुकेशन, अब वो बात अलग है, वो कभी क्लास में गई नहीं है, वो एक अलग बात है, लेकिन फिर भी तो दे हैव डिग्री, है ना. कटेरिया साहब एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर रहे हैं, पता नहीं कितनी क्लास ली जीवन में उन्होंने, तो बट एटलीस्ट वो कुछ इमेज रिबिल्डिंग पे काम तो कर सकते हैं. व्हाई आर स्टूडेंट्स आर गोइंग आउट, है ना. आगरा के बच्चे जो की बात करते हैं अर्बनाइजेशन, बच्चे विदेश में क्यों जाए, यहाँ क्यों नहीं कह सकते लेट अस वर्क हियर, तो ये शायद उनका काम बनता है, पर यहाँ तो कहते हैं नहीं हम देश सुधारेंगे अपना. आगरा तो ठीक है. सवाल है उठते रहते हैं, तो आई टेक समटाइम्स सो मेनी रिस्क आल्सो, है ना. बोल देता हूँ. थैंक यू विमला जी.
थैंक यू नवीन. मैं सुपरिनवेट कर गई हूँ, अब प्रो वाइस चांसलर नहीं हूँ, बस सलाहकार हूँ. ठीक है.
Yeah, Ayushi, go ahead.
Thank you so much to all the dignitaries and participants present here. Thank you for your presence in the conference on My India, My Vision. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pritam sir. Thank you very much, Sandeep ji. Take forward that we need to discuss थोड़ा सा करके इसको कैसे रीशेप करना है इसको कॉन्फ्रेंस को, बिकॉज नॉर्मली तो मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन में जो बात करते हैं वो यही करते हैं कि फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग, मार्केटिंग, ब्रांडिंग. आई थॉट इफ कंट्री इज नॉट स्ट्रॉन्ग, इफ कंट्री इज नॉट रिच, so what is the meaning whatever we do? Or I think we have given a lot of focus being in a management institution on consumerism, GDP, पर उससे भी कई. I was in America, प्रोफेसर सिद्दीकी मिले मेरे को, तो वो ये कहते थे माया मिलिन हराम, माया मिलिन हराम. तो वो तो सोचना पड़ेगा एजेंडा, वी नीड टू डिस्कस कि भैया क्यों नहीं मिली वहां अमेरिका जाके भी, माया भी नहीं मिली और राम भी नहीं मिला. तो माया और राम पर बात करना ही होगा सर. आर वी हैप्पी, रियली हैप्पी, ये सवाल पूछना है. है ना, नसीम साहब कितना बैंक बैलेंस है, आई एम नॉट बॉदर्ड अबाउट दैट, बट आर यू हैप्पी, दिस वी नीड टू आस्क. संदीप
That's right, sir.
खुले
That's also
दिल से हमें साथ दे सकते हैं. अभी तो इज फ्री फ्रॉम द ऑल साइकिल्स, है ना, जंजीरें जो थी ब्यूरोक्रेसी की. We can take a lot of advantage of your experience now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
आगरा में सर कुछ
Always.
करते हैं, आ जाओ, हमारा भी थोड़ा टाइम पास हो
जी
जाएगा.
जी जी.
टीचर के पास ज्यादा काम नहीं होता ना.
नहीं नहीं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण काम होता है.
हाँ, बस यही काम होता है, बोलने.
मैं इजाजत लेती हूँ आपसे.
हाँ, प्लीज 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 गो.
जी, थैंक यू.
We could save lot of money, है ना, ऑनलाइन करके खाने का खर्चा बचा लिया हमने, ट्रैवल एक्सपेंसेस बचा लिए. एंड ऑफ कोर्स पॉल्यूशन में थोड़ा सा मदद किया ना, गाड़ियां इतनी आती जाती. पर इट वाज अ वंडरफुल सर, बहुत अच्छा आपके साथ, लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग, लॉट ऑफ. ठीक है,
थैंक यू नवीन जी.
अभी तो
Everyone, please. There is one feedback form in the chat box. Please fill as your feedback.
Ayushi, everyone please turn on your cameras. All the attendees, please turn on your cameras for group photo. Now, please submit your feedbacks. Okay. Thank you. And
So much, all of you, for be there.
please submit your feedback. एक बार मुझे भेज, मैं इसे
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone for joining. Fill the feedback form. Link is given in chat box. Yes, you all can leave.